Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day, another week, another episode of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be going over Marvel's Avengers. We got some cosmetic skins that were leaked. It comes out tomorrow, so we're going to check out them. We're going to talk about, just Marvel games in general and how the graphics and stuff look, the art style that they have. So we'll look at them, break that down a little bit. We're going to talk about Nintendo President game development will become more, even longer and more complex and more sophisticated, the president of Nintendo says. We're going to watch a video of Upper Echelon. It says unchecked greed in gaming, how the industry is destroying itself. We also have an article of the Xbox cuts might not be finished while Game Pass debate goes on over pricing and Call of Duty. Now, there is another thing that I didn't really have a topic for, but I wanted to talk about it, right? I saw David Jaffe post a tweet about how, he's an older person. He doesn't, he liked going to the movies, but less often now, and that more people, he wants to watch the movie when it comes to, home. And it got me thinking a little bit, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk about this and kind of link it into what the streaming services are doing for films and also with Game Pass, and kind of show you something a little bit. And why we're all surprised what's happening right now, which I've been saying for years on this channel or the other channel or Generation X Gaming, where I tell you that Game Pass is great for people, for customers, but it's bad for the industry. And you're starting to see that a little bit more. It's starting to show itself a little bit because it's not sustainable. And to become sustainable, they can make it sustainable down the road, but they have to have a lot of things go in their favor as far as with the games everywhere type of thing. And so we'll break that down a little bit today on today's show. If you like what I do, we go over the news stories, have conversations. I read the stories for the first time on the channel here. Have a back and forth with you guys in chat. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. What's going on, chat? What's going on, Stel? What's going on, Ford? What's going on, Z? What's going on, Travis? Water Bear? Who else is here? Is that it? What is happening to my chat? What is happening? What's going on, Jones? I have to refresh my chat. It's not moving. I can't scroll. I can't do anything. Thanks, YouTube. Appreciate it. Awesome. Awesome. Give me 1 second, chat. I can't see you. I can see it. I can see you on in the stream, but I can't see you on my actual there we go. There we go. Go on, Salty. All right, so let's start off. I'm going to start off with the David Jaffe thing with Game Pass and stuff. What's going on? Okay. So let's start with this. So David Jaffe says, this made me realize why old people like me go to the movies less often. Now, I don't know how David Jaffe is. I think he's a little older than me, right? I'll be 46. I'm pretty sure he's like in his probably late 40s, early 50s and stuff like that. Maybe mid 50s, right? I don't know. Maybe he's my age. When you're older, time seems to go really fast, and it may be very well be doing that. Point is, though, I could swear that this game or this came out a few weeks ago. I didn't want to see it, but now, okay, he says now I want to watch it at home in less time that it's been in theaters. I'm just going to do that, right? So he's just going to say, I'm just going to watch it at home. And that's a problem, right? So way back when people used to go to the movie theaters thrived. Businesses thrived. There was studios and massive corporations that had multiple movie studios. I'm talking about like movie theater companies, okay? Now there's less and less people go to the theaters. More of us watch the movies at home. We pay a subscription model. Well, the subscription model can't last. So much so that, in another thing, Disney Plus is now partnering a new streaming bundle with their competitors, right? Disney Plus and Hulu, and now Max, right? This is supposed to be releasing this summer in the U.S. because there's only one company that's actually thriving in the streaming service, which is Netflix. And it's not because they're having the best content. It's because they were here first, okay? They were here first, and they've figured out what the process is, where these other guys are coming in too late into the show, okay? I want you to do the correlation here, okay? First into the market in streaming was Netflix. First in the market for streaming over here that's trying to do what they're doing is Microsoft. Okay? Everybody else is trying to join in. Ubisoft Plus, EA Play, PlayStation Plus, Nintendo with their thing. And they're all moving digitally. They're all moving over to the streaming service, okay? So a lot of these companies can't withstand this because no one's going to the theaters. They're spending hundreds and millions of dollars, okay? And they're trying to make money back and they can't. So products are going up, right? Productions are going up. Studios things are going up. And yet no one's going to the actual theater to pay that $10, $15 to go watch a movie. They're paying the $10, $15 to watch it at home. Less and less people are paying. More people are watching because you can pay one, have eight people in your house, come watch it, share your password, do all this other stuff. And they're struggling, okay? So I found, okay, here's an article. Increasingly, Americans prefer going to the movies at home. Okay, so I'm going to read this a little bit. All right, the start of the summer blockbuster movie season has Hollywood hoping to a usual stampede of theaters, but now more than ever, a place for Americans would rather watch movies under their own roof. Okay, 3/4 of adults say they would prefer watching movies at home rather than in a theater, according to a Pew Research survey. Up to 67%. Okay, in 1994, people wanted to go to the theater. The survey finds more than 7 in 10 adults, 71%, watch at least one movie a week, but the great bulk of the viewing occurs at home rather than in theaters. Now, surprisingly, this article is from 2006. Okay, 2006. Now let's forward to today. Okay, 2/3 of U.S. adults would rather wait to watch movies on streaming. Okay, a new poll by Harris Executives. Okay, the IndieWire found a 34% of U.S. adults prefer to watch movies in theaters. Okay, now that's a huge change, which means a solid 2/3 would rather wait for them to be released on streaming. The competition continues between streaming services and other Hollywood engine. While it still sees evidence of loyal moviegoers in recent box office numbers, our study shows that 2 in 3 movie watchers preferred stream movies at home. Okay, so despite the causing of some upheaval of the industry, it also means that the demand for the content is only increasing. Nearly half the consumers say that the stream movies weekly more than 7 times as frequent as those of who do so in theaters. So, do you guys see the problem? Do you guys see the problem why content creation for streaming service for movies is not feasible? They can't keep up with it. Okay, they can't keep up with the actual what's happening, and then the costs are going up. Okay, I'm going to talk from experience here. When I used to work in the film industry, when I was working on motion pictures and TV shows and reality shows, to work on one show or one movie, a movie would take anywhere, if it was an independent film, would take anywhere from 15 days to 22 days. To a bigger budget, would take 3 months to 6 months. If you worked on a television series for a reality show, it would usually take 6 to 8 months to film. Okay, now they're doing this within weeks. Okay, something that took 6 months now takes 6 weeks. Something that took 6 weeks now takes 1 weekend. Okay, that's how fast they're pushing it out. So they're lowballing us. Okay, they're lowballing us, the people that actually make the content for you. But the big wigs don't take a cut. They're charging you even more, and they're making more money. Now it's so much so that they cut the cable from all the years ago, and now they made all these streaming services. And now they're combining streaming services, which is almost seems like they're making cable again. So now let me kind of bring this back into what Game Pass is doing, and what PlayStation Plus is doing, and what Ubisoft is doing, and what EA is doing. Okay, it's impossible for them to keep making content because, unfortunately, you can't make the games faster than you can make film. Okay, a thing like I said took 6 months now takes 6 weeks. Okay, a video game takes 3 to 5 years. Now it takes 5 to 7 years because the customers want better graphics. They want better storytelling. They want all these different things. They want better mechanics. And it's impossible for companies to produce this stuff without doing crunch, without doing all of this stuff, right? So it's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you decide that you want to make a game and put all this stuff out, right, they have to have plenty of films for the movie industry to make a profit by the end of the year. This is why they put out 10, 12, 14 films from one studio. Because again, I've always said this stuff, 10 of the films that come out each year from that studio, 3 will make money, 7 will lose money, 1 will be a blockbuster. Okay, a blockbuster meaning making a crap ton of money for them. Okay, doesn't matter if it's a small independent film that cost them $5 million and then it went on to make $1 billion, or if it's that $300 million film that brought in $900 million to $1.2 billion. Okay, there's gonna be a big chunk of change coming from just 3 of the feature films. Well, now a lot of people are not going to the movies. Well, now let's go back to Game Pass, right? Hi-Fi Rush comes out, and people made that game. They made it. Took them 3 to 5 years to make that game. It was ahead of what Microsoft bought. They wanted to make that money. They put it out there, and nobody wants to buy the game. They just want to play it on Game Pass, okay? And now you can look at this and say, well, this is a Microsoft problem. No, this is a industry problem. This is why it's not sustainable, right? Starfield was played by 10 million people, but we don't know how many people actually bought it, and they will never tell us those actual numbers. But this is unsustainable because people are going, well, why would I pay $70 for this game, $80 for the game, $130 for a game, when I can just wait for it to come to a streaming service? Ubisoft Plus with Star Wars Outlaws, Starfield with Game Pass. What's another game that just came out? What's on PlayStation Plus? Foam Stars. Okay, like all of these things are coming over, and they're not charging money for these. This is why I've said in the past, I like PlayStation's business model because they put their first-party titles out first. Okay, let them make the money off of that, and then down the road they put it on PlayStation Plus for the people that didn't want to pay the $70, they didn't want to pay the $40. Now they just kind of put it out there for people to play, and they make that money off of that. Okay, but Game Pass and what Microsoft is doing is a great value. It is. It's a great value for customers, but you have to look at it and say, is this longevity of this, is it possible? And the only way it's going to be very possible for Game Pass to work in the future, okay? And again, this is not for you to be like, well, what am I supposed to do, 30? I'm trying to just educate you on how it's impossible for it to work unless Game Pass gets out to every screen possible. When it becomes that brand, like I was talking about yesterday, when you ask for a tissue or you say, can I have a Kleenex? Kleenex is a brand, not the actual tissue, okay? Hey, can I have instead of saying a soda, people say, can I have a Coke? Even though they don't want a Coke, they just want Coke. It's a brand recognition. They're trying to get Game Pass to be that brand. So when you think of a game, when it comes out, when a movie comes out, you're like, is it on Netflix? It's on Netflix? Cool, right? When a game comes out, they're like, is it on Game Pass? That's what they're trying to do, okay? They have to have 3 times, 4 times the amount of people playing it on Game Pass than they have people actually buying the actual thing to make up for the cost of what it is. This is why when people give crap to Microsoft about they're not coming out with games that are as good quality as Sony, is because they have to keep their costs down. Because if it's a $70 game because it cost them $150 million or $200 million, okay, they have to sell 7 million copies. 5 to 7 million copies. Well, if they're not selling 5 to 7 million copies for full price at $70, well, now they have to, it's on Game Pass, now they need 3 times that, okay, to make up, and that's if it's a $30 game, okay? Right? Now, if it's a $70 game, they still need 3 times that. So if they needed 5 million, they now need 15, 20 million people to play it on Game Pass. They have to have 20 million people come in for that month, pay the $10, pay the $12, pay the $15, and subsidize the rest of it from people that actually bought those games, right? It's unsustainable unless Microsoft gets to do what they want to do and put it on every platform, every PC, right? And they make that brand happen. And only till then, okay, it will not be profitable for them for Game Pass. Now, obviously profitable, when I say that, a lot of people are like, well, it is profitable. They have the revenue up. Yes, the revenue is up, but you see how they're closing studios down because it's too much overhead. And if they kept those studios, then they don't know what's going to sell in the future until they have their plan to fruition. And this is why they're struggling. The movie industry is struggling. Studios are closing down. Theaters are going bankrupt. Because people are like, well, it's a better, more convenient thing for me to pay for a streaming service to watch it at home, right? Again, this is why Disney Plus, they can't make it. They're losing billions of dollars. Why they're making shit product. People are not interested in seeing it. Why would I pay $15 to go to the theater if it's a shit product when I can wait, pay $15 for that month to watch your shit product on your shit service? Okay? And that's the problem. Mediocrity. Okay? Minimal viable product. Make the most profit possible for each thing. They can't make it alone. Hence why they took ESPN and Hulu and merged it with Disney Plus. They can't make it. Max is losing money. Disney Plus is losing money. They're trying to merge them to make a deal so people get in more people because they're hemorrhaging people, right? So when you look at it and go, well, I just don't like going to the theaters, right? You're killing the theaters. When you don't buy a game, you're killing the gaming industry, okay? Sure, these companies are buying companies up and they're closing studios down. That's because they're not making enough money, right? And it's our fault and it's their fault because we're not buying the games. And they're not putting enough effort into the games because why would they put effort into the game if you're going to give them $70 for a minimal viable product? If you're going to pay $40 for a microtransaction, if you're going to pay for all this stuff, then why would they make a better product when they know they can just do the bare minimum and still get the same amount of money out of you for a streaming service or for a microtransaction? If you're paying $80 for a monkey glove, you are the problem of why the industry is going down. This is just reality here. All right, these are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And if you like what I do here, please make sure you check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. He's 53. There you go. Thank you. I have been into the cinema since 2017. I suppose selling the games now, chump change compared to what the Game Pass makes. 16 times the detail on Game Pass. Behemoth said, oh, wait for a sale. I'll wait for a sale. People have been conditioned to streaming. I'm going to wait for Spider-Man 2 to go on sale. Or they're making too much money and they want to keep making the same amount of money. Right. Or more, right? And they have too much overhead. So they're like, well, we still want to make this money. We got to make this profit go up. Well, how do we do that? We got to fire a bunch of people because it's just not making enough money. Salty says, I'm waiting for Spider-Man 2 on PC, even though I have a PlayStation 5. I'm past FOMO now. I bought Miles 5 years after the release. Good morning, Wonder Rose. I knew it was my fault. It's all our fault, Salty. Remember, Xbox said where the industry is going, closing successful studios. Beverly Hollywood Hills will soon have only TikTok influencers living there. I have a friend who, when Travis says, I have a friend who, when he said, this is what good, let theaters die, they're outdated media. It's really ridiculous, right? This is the same person that if theaters are done, then all of a sudden the industry closes down because it's not sustainable for a streaming service. And then people will be like, what happened to television shows? What happened to movies? You'll be like, oh, well, just no one was buying them anymore. Moment of silence for Friday night stream. Pause. Covering movies/show news during a week. I think will work better. I'm trying, Krebsy. I'm trying. I just, I don't know if I could. The problem, and if I make just a topic and do the entertainment news in the morning, I can already see me talking about this stuff, and it's because I'm fucking stubborn, right? That the algorithm of Twitter, or I'm sorry, of YouTube hurts me, right? I can already see some of my videos not doing as well as they did before because I've already had the other stuff inside the algorithm, because you don't notice it until weeks later. So it goes into, now if I cover stuff like that and I put it on Nerding with 30, then I got to grow that whole channel over again. And it's like, is it worth doing that? Or do I just, I don't know. It's more than just like as easy as just covering it during the day. But I'm so stubborn and I like to cover stuff and I have to talk about what I want to talk about. So what helps me is that you guys coming each and every single day and the membership that does it, right? I rather make content for that than potentially what I can make content for. You know what I'm saying? I'm very stubborn in my ways, and that's why I'm not successful on YouTube. because I'm trying to make YouTube bend to my will instead of bending to YouTube's will. You're not stubborn, you're dedicated? No, I'm stubborn. That's a self-omission. Right? I read that article from 2006. Okay, if I didn't tell you it was from 2006, you would think that article was from today, the way they talk about it, right? Right? It's the show that nothing's changed. People wanted to watch movies at home because the nature of us is like we're lazy. I don't want to get up and get dressed. People back in the old days for movies used to put a 3-piece suit on and go to the theater. Okay? Now we put it on flip-flops, t-shirt, and shorts with a hole in it where my, your junk hangs out. And people don't even want to do that because they're like, it's too expensive. I don't want to pay for popcorn. I don't want to pay for a soda. But they don't understand the reason the prices are going up is because less people are doing it. Stubborn and dedicated are interchangeable, though. Sure. I say he's both. The greed is showing. They're awful head this week. The one thing is confusing about all the closures, right? Because they moved 2 studios over and they closed Tango. Tango is the one, and Matt Booty coming out, which I'm not covering today, but Matt Booty, because we'll probably cover tonight with Kingard on GXG, is like, why in the hell would you say right after? Now, it was out of context because he didn't say we need more games like Hi-Fi Rush. He just said we needed more studios to make games, right? You just got rid of a studio that's making games. But as an outsider looking in, you're like, that was a successful game for us. Right? As consumers, we're like, yeah, I like that game. I played it. I bought it. I liked it. But it wasn't successful. And then you can look at it and go, well, why isn't it successful? Well, because they sabotaged it from the beginning. They didn't market it. It was shadow dropped. I mean, everyone gave praise for the shadow drop. We're like, this is what we want. A good game. But no one bought it. Nobody bought it. Okay? 4 million people, or actually 3 million people played it. We don't know out of the 3 million people that played it, how many people bought it. Okay? So if the game costs $50 million, if it costs $10 million, if it costs $100 million, we don't know what that cost is. It didn't make its money back. Whatever it was, it didn't make its money back. So now, put yourself in a position, if you had to invest money into a company and wait 3 to 5 years to see if that was going to work, but the last game that they worked on for 3 to 5 years didn't make money based on the product that you wanted to put out, are you going to invest 3 to 5 more years in with that, or are you going to pivot? Right? That's for you to decide. He says, bend over 30. YouTube has an algorithm for you. That's right. I haven't gotten either at a theater in years. Well, here's the thing. If you don't go to the theater, you're going to get shittier films. Right? Not only are they writing shitty movies and making shitty movies, but they're doing a minimal viable product because they know they're not going to make that much money in theaters, right? Yes, the budgets are out of control. Well, when minimum wage has to go up and all this other stuff has to go up, what are you going to do, right? When an actor starts making a film and he makes $500,000, the minimum, whatever, and then by episode 3 he's making $20 million, what do you think happens? You know whose money doesn't go up? The art department, the camera department, the PA, the first assistant director. They get their cut. They get their salary. That's it. Right? When I get a job, when I got a camera job, I got my day rate. Okay? I got my day rate. Doesn't matter if it's the sequel to the movie and I worked on the first one, I get my day rate. I don't get any more. I don't get any less. I get my day rate. Okay? So yet, who gets more? The director gets more. The producers get more, the studio makes more, and the actor or actors that are the lead make more. Okay? But the people that make the movie don't make more, besides the director. Right? So now, you're looking at who makes more money. The people that are developers, or the people that are running the businesses. Right? Doesn't matter if the budget's $50 million. If it doesn't matter if it's $100 million or $300 million for a video game, right? The developers get their day rate, get their salary, get what they're paid for. And at the end of the thing, The producer, the director, the owners of the company, the bigwigs, the suits, whatever you want to call them, they make more money. Not the guys in the trenches. Didn't one of the Hi-Fi Rush creators said, if you wanted to support the game, buy it? The funny part is, PL, I don't know why people have to say that. This is why me and Sarge, for years and years and years, we're like, I don't know how they're going to make money. Why would you pay $70 if you didn't have to? Why would you pay $70 if you don't have to? I have a local theater over here that they only charge $5 for a movie, so I'll buy a beer usually to help them out because of the damn good price. Right. I go to my local breakfast place here. Okay. I said this last night. I've said it before in the past streams. Okay. I can go to a franchise. Okay. Kiki's or whatever else you want to call it, breakfast. I forget what the hell they're called, but they're like, Countrywide or whatever you are. You have your franchise breakfast place. And I could pay $15 for breakfast, okay, which is outrageous for a lot of stuff. Or I could support my local business. And my local place, his prices are not as high, right? Because he wants more people to come into his business. He wants more people to eat at his place because, right, IHOP, Denny's, any of that places, right? Right? You could have a shit breakfast, minimum viable product, and pay overprice for shit food, or you could help your local place out, okay? If we don't eat at this person's place, his business closes. That's how it works. Okay? You don't buy the product, places close. At 8 a.m., I'm the weirdo getting chicken and fried chicken. I mean, hell, if you put eggs on it, it's breakfast. So Hi-Fi Rush will go to the one-hit wonders in gaming. Yeah, no sequel. Which one, Argus? Right? Do you know why what the hell is that game called? You know why Hades made it to a Hades 2? Because people bought the game. Okay? And only after the fact it made money, then it goes to other services or goes on sale or goes to a streaming service, right? Tunic got money up front, made the money back. So regardless if it sold well or not, they made their money back because Microsoft paid to put it on there first. That doesn't work the same way when you're a first-party title. Okay? Sure, you got your salary, you got your thing. Okay? But third-party studios can thrive because they get a bulk of their money up front to get that exclusive on that timed exclusive, or if it's on Game Pass day and date. But their first-party studios are just getting the money for what they cost the thing. And then when it puts out, Microsoft goes, did it make money? Like, right? That's the problem. If they still have some of the devs in Hi-Fi Rush 2, it's possible. Oh, speaking of a place closing, did you hear about what's going on with the RUE 2130? They literally told all the employees they have 2 weeks and they're closing all the stores. CEO sent the pre. What's RUE? What's RUE? I don't know what RUE is. Pronounced Rue 21, clothing store or something, right? It's a clothing store chain. Yeah, no, not in my area. I've never heard of it. So speaking of it, so they did say about what's going on with Rue. They literally told all the employees they have 2 weeks, and they were closing all stores. Where's the articles? Where's the outcry? Where's all the people? Right? See, this happens in every industry. Microsoft says, did it make money? Hi-Fi Rush devs replies, a little, not good enough. Shut it down. Right. Well, there's a disconnect between the suits and the people in the trenches, Salty, right? The suits don't care. They're like, yeah, great graphics. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, yeah, looks great. Did you make money? Oh, 3 to 5 years it took you to make the game? People missed the birth of their child? Did it make money? Right? The corporation doesn't give a crap. And I know people will look at this and go, this guy's heartless. This is reality. This is what happens across all businesses, right? The people that work in the company have hearts and soul. The people that run the company, it's just an entity. What's going on, Kylo? Well, that's another thing I was going to talk about today, right, Kylo? The price has to go up, right? I watched oh no, it's Alex this morning. I saw his thing pop up this morning, and I watched his stream this morning talking about how they could have made money, and he brought up how, oh, just take World of Warcraft and put it in Game Pass. Wonder who came up with that idea, right? Who said it months ago, right? How to bring Call of Duty, all the old titles, Transformers, Activision titles, all the other stuff, bring it on Game Pass, give it more. I said, and then the price will go up. This is not rocket science, people. This is not rocket science. They paid $70 billion for a company, and they got to make their money back. The problem is you can't put it all on one drop, right? You got to slowly feed it into the cycle. Otherwise, you do one chunk and then you raise the price. But if you ease it in and then raise the price, then you can keep raising the price, right? And this is why I said months ago, over a year ago, how much would you pay? Would you pay $20? Would you pay $25? Would you pay $30? Where does it go, and how far does it go before it's not a good deal anymore? And then once we get to that point, right? Once we get to that point, right now we have 22 million, 25 million, 30 million people, whatever, that have Game Pass. Let's just take Game Pass out of the equation. Just put streaming service, 30 million people paying $15 a pop. Well, now you've doubled that. Now it's $30 down the road. Do you still have 30 million people paying $30 a pop, or do you have half of that or a third of that paying $30 a pop? Right? So you're still in the same part, right? You're still making the same money with less people. That's the industry right now with gaming. That's the industry right now with microtransactions. That's the industry right now with season passes. That's the industry right now with all the other monetization things that are happening in video games. Less people playing per game, but still making billions of dollars. 20% makes 80%. Good morning, Aunt Mama. I saw someone talking about it raise the price of Game Pass again, and they were going to have to change the flow of the new AAA games from trickle to steady flow. Yeah. This is exactly what I've been saying. If you bring in a game per month, and I said this well over a year ago, 2 years ago, I said that if they have 28 studios, right? 28 studios, and they're working on each have their own game, okay? Well, let's do basic math. Let's say they have 24 studios, okay? Just make it real simple. And it takes 2 to 3 years to make a game. Well, they would have to pick up 6 games per year. They could release 6 first-party title games per year. Because if they have 24 studios, and it takes 3 to 5 years to make a game, okay? 6 studios make a game, and then it comes out, let's say, this year. And then you get 6 other third-party titles to come in for the other 6 months of the year. Okay, well, then the other first-party titles that work for Xbox, the other, 18 studios, they have time, right? Because then the next group goes, and then they release their games over the next year, and then so on and so forth. And if they do this correctly, they can have a constant flow. Well, they can't do that if they don't have enough studios. And if they don't have enough studios to do that's if everything goes smooth. This is why they buy games, buy studios that already have games in the process, and then throw them onto Game Pass, and then they go, well, it wasn't successful. Sorry. It was a good shot, though. Right? It's a good shot, though. This is why I said the article last year, when the independent article talked about the independent developers were making money at the beginning of Game Pass, but it's going to be harder and harder to make it at the end, because more first-party titles are going to come out, more bigger titles are going to come out, more AAA games, more quadruple A games are going to come onto the service, which will overshadow the small independent games. See, the problem is, just like Hollywood's betting on the big budget films, which they should put their money where their mouth is in the independent films, right? You want that Blair Witch. You want that big fat Greek wedding. You want that Godzilla 1. Okay, you want to spend $10, $15 million and make $1 billion. You want to invest in that. The problem with that in video games is the independent developers still need the same time, 3 to 5 years to make a game. Bigger blockbusters take 5 to 7 now. Which goes to our next story. Okay. Here's our next story. If you guys like what I do here, I read news stories for the first time on my stream, and then we have conversations with live chat. We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. I give you my opinion. Okay. Nintendo president, game development will become even longer, more complex, and more sophisticated. Okay. So Nintendo says, Nintendo president, I'm not going to pronounce his name because I'm going to butcher it, has explained to the Japanese magazine that the video game development will become even longer, more complex, and more sophisticated in the future, and it merges the acquisitions, would be one way to address this, okay? So that merges the acquisitions, okay? Nintendo isn't the only company to say that video game development is becoming longer, more costly, and more complex, with both Sony and Xbox echoing this statement in the past, okay? He says, quote, he also stated that and he believes that the further lengthening complexity and sophistication of game development is inevitable in the future. And M&A, okay, is one of the possible means to address this, but added, quote, first of all, we would like to develop human resources who understand Nintendo's brand well within the company and who will also be responsible for Nintendo's future development, along with the developers who have built our brand over the years, okay? Now, however, the company's basic policy is, first of all, understand the Nintendo brand and well within the company and the development of human resources who will be responsible for the future development of Nintendo, together developers who also built the brand over the years. Now, this is the major problem with Microsoft, okay? I've talked in the past about how Call of Duty, this has nothing to do with Microsoft, I'm just saying Call of Duty has lost its identity, okay? Battlefield has lost its identity. Halo has lost its identity. All of these companies have with these franchises they have lost their identity of what the game is. Nintendo's number one rule, okay? Number one rule, understand Nintendo brand, okay? Nintendo knows who it is. They make the games for who is buying the games. They know this. Microsoft right now is chasing something that they're just trying to get ahead of. They're trying to be Google search engine. They're trying to be the Netflix of video games. They're trying to do something that they don't even know what they're doing. And the upper management above Phil Spencer, in my opinion, is tired of just doing this. They just want to make that money go up. They're like, we just gave you $70 billion. We got to see some return on investment. Okay? Because why? They don't understand the video game market. And again, they don't give a shit. They just want that number to go up. Okay? Nintendo knows what it is. Okay? And this is their thing. Human resources who will be responsible for the future development of Nintendo, together with the developers who have built the brand over the years. Okay? So the people coming in that want to partner, okay, who's a good fit for Nintendo to merge or to buy, that understands what Nintendo is, so it doesn't change what Nintendo is, because Nintendo knows what Nintendo is. This is why we call Nintendo Crazy Uncle Nintendo. Nintendo does what Nintendo does. They don't follow everybody else. They stay true to who they are. Now we go back to Microsoft. Microsoft doesn't know who it is, right? They're like, oh, we're going to chase this. Oh, we're going to be the set-top box. Oh, we're not going to be the set-top box. We're going to be this. Oh, we're going to have just Game Pass. Oh, no, we're going to be everywhere. They keep changing faster than people change their underwear, okay? They have no idea, okay, what they want to do. I think Phil has the idea what they want to do, but I think it takes too long to get to that point, and I think upper management above Phil, who pays his salary, is kind of over it, okay? So we'll see what happens in the future, but Nintendo is not better than everybody else. They're saying that Nintendo is saying that game development will become even longer, more complex, right? They're hedging their bet, saying, look, we're in the same boat as them. We just have morals over here. We know who we are as Nintendo, where Sony also has morals. They know what they're doing. They know their clientele, hence why they keep coming out with products to keep selling their same customer base, right? PSVR 2, the Portal, the DualSense, all that stuff. They know their clientele. Microsoft doesn't know their clientele. They're still searching 21 years into the making of this, or I'm sorry, 24 years into the making of this, they're still going, what are we? They don't even know. And I think they finally figured it out. Okay? Because Nadella said, you're going to be everywhere. Just like Microsoft Windows, you're going to be everywhere. You're going to be on a TV. You're going to be on the iPad. You're going to be on the cell phone. And yesterday I brought it up. This is how Game Pass succeeds. Putting as many people out there as possible that potentially play it everywhere and anywhere. And then you'll get the small little chunks here and there with the consoles, with the tablets, with the computers, with the cell phones, with the streaming headset, right? With their own handheld devices, with other people's handheld devices. And that's how Game Pass can strive. But right now, we can't see the forest through the trees, right? Because we're just upset gamers that are like, well, what's happened to all our game studios? What happened to the games, right? But at the same token, people are not buying games. People are not seeing movies, right? People are not doing any of this stuff. And this is why all this, right? Video game industry is not struggling, by the way. Movie industry is struggling. Video game industry is the most profitable piece of entertainment combined with sports and entertainment and everything else, right? It's billions and billions of dollars, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. And the upper bigwigs want bigger chunks of change so they can get 12 cars and 12 boats, okay? These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think? Nintendo says it's going to get longer, more complex, more sophisticated. Do you think that this is a doomsday thing? Or do you think, this is just business as usual? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And if you like what I do here, please check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Let me scroll back up. PC does more than just gaming, man. Who are you responding to, Otter? Oh, Travis. Gotcha. How do they move forward with the system of closing every studio that makes game with a handful of exceptions? How do they move forward with this system of closing every studio? Well, we're being a little facetious, right? We don't know if they're closing every studio. They just took 4 studios and closed those, and they took 2 of them and merged them in with another company that's making money, right? Again, from a business standpoint, they're closing stuff that's not making money for them and moving people over to companies that are making money for them, right? So, I don't know. Are you a business owner, Crowded? Do you own your own business, right? If you had a division in your business that wasn't making money, are you going to double down to make money with that? Or are you going to close it down, cut your losses, and then move forward with something that's making money? Kyle says it hasn't even been a year yet, and they want to increase it again. I don't mind a pay increase if it's done every 2 to 3 years. Not enough time, perks that have added to the warrant an increase. Well, Kylo, look at what video games and individuals are doing, right? Microtransactions have gone up in price, right? Video game prices have gone up. And then they've gone up again because they've tricked you. They've said that we need to go from 60 to 70, but now they're going from 70 to 100 because that 3-day early access or the 5-day early access. And then they give you a season pass that's coming out a year and a half afterwards, and they charge you $130, right? So technically, every year for the last couple of years, prices have gone up for video games. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's okay. What would you rather buy, right? Let's look at it this way. Would you rather buy Outlaws for $140, or would you rather get a streaming service for $140 for the year? Right now. Or $180. $40 more, you get access to hundreds of games instead of one game. I saw everyone going, if you see marketing for Hellblade 2, let me know. Krebsy says, I'm just happy more and more people are coming to their senses. This is just months, years late, and the damage is also taking longer to course correct. Oh, it's going to get worse, Krebsy. Right now, what's happening is that the people are recognizing it, but there's more people coming in that don't recognize it. So it's going to go even worse. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. You think the actors are going to take a pay cut? No. Hence why they fire them. Hence why they write them out and kill them off. right? Hence why, do you think Robert Downey Jr. died? Do you think he died because they wanted him to die? No, they didn't want to pay his paycheck anymore. I guarantee you that's why Iron Man died. He got paid $500,000 for the first Iron Man. He was getting paid $20 million. I'm going to start selling my body on the corner so I can afford to jump to PC. You're going to whore yourself out so you can get his PC. Nice. Kylo says, the Xbox news from the past week really shows they don't know what they're doing. Now they want the price increase us. I think it might be time for me to cut my losses with Xbox and only play on PC. Well, Xbox doesn't care, right? Because you could still play the Xbox games on your PC. The whole point of Hollywood is ridiculous. Money and fame. Probably with Nintendo as their console is behind others. Kylo says, once you've sold your body enough, let me know. Waterbear says, we are the interesting time for gaming. Great games being released. Lots of money being made. But there's also a ton of layoffs and merging the companies happening. The ton of layoffs has never been different. Has never been different. The only reason it looks like it's more, I mean, it is more people losing their jobs, Water. But there's also more studios making games. There's also more companies out there than there was in the past. But we looked at an article from 10 years ago, right? 700 people let go. 900 people let go. 1,100 people let go, right? We, as people in this industry that watch and do the stuff, we have goldfish brain, man. People forget that this all happened. They're like, well, this is the biggest ever. No, this is the biggest now. The biggest now. There were 700 people let go in 2011. There's a lot less companies, studios in 2011. If you didn't tell us about the clothing store, right, losing all their employees, 500 stores across the thing, right, nobody would know. Nobody would care except for the people that work for the company that are infected, right? I really hope to switch to 60 frames per second. I'm going to lie, but I have a lot of Switch games. I would like to see them at 60 frames per second. It just says, always got to be one up your last work. Thus, your time is accomplished that goal. AI will help bring them 8 years to 6 years, but still more than current 5 years. I don't know. Well, even if AI, in my opinion, Krebsy, even if AI helps them and limits the time, there's still going to be a learning curve for the AI, which means you're going to get some weird ass things happening in gaming because of that. And then let's just say AI gets so good that they don't even need people anymore. So what's better now? What's better now? Great. We've shortened it from 5 to 7 years to now back to 4 years, but no humans are actually working on games anymore because the AI is doing it all. There's one guy in a studio with AI typing in stuff. Done. Argus says, because the companies are publicly traded and beholden to investors, the boards of directors to them, these companies will have no choice but to infinitely grow. There he is. Yep, that's it. They always have to grow. Infinitely fuck us more and more to do so. Not in the fun way. Private House says, no, but it seems like the only one at fault for Hi-Fi Rush not making money is Xbox. Sure. I mean, obviously, it's the easiest one to blame, right, House? Because they bought Bethesda, and then they put the game out with no advertisement. They just dropped it. Let me put a scenario for you this way. What would have been better? What would have been better? Buying Bethesda and then just shutting down Hi-Fi Rush, and you didn't even know about it, right? You didn't even know about it. It just closed down, because that happens a lot. Games get canceled all the time. And they just canceled. So now let's have a prediction of what would have happened, right? It leaks out that Hi-Fi Rush was 99% complete and Microsoft closed it down. We know nothing about the game, right? And people have been like, oh, they ruined the game. Okay? Never comes out, never makes money, still closed the studio down because they weren't happy with the profits or what the game looked like. Same scenario, right? They just Never came out. You wouldn't have been mad about it because you didn't know anything about Hi-Fi Rush. Then they leak it and say, oh, game was complete. We could have had an awesome game. It would have been like, oh, that's a shame. It's a shame. It probably sucked, right? But now we know the game's out, and people didn't buy it, right? People didn't buy it on the other systems as well. And when it was on Game Pass, no one bought it. Well, no shit. Why would I buy it? I bought it, right? But why would people buy it? Because it's on Game Pass. Well, I mean, that Game Pass check from Xbox likely is one of the help the Hi-Fi Rush even made it be made possible. I think it was already made beforehand, Argus. But yeah, they got paid. The developers got paid. And yet they're too afraid to recast and kicking the can down the road to be fixed. The shitstorm they created. Oh, you're talking about Marvel, yeah. Almost as if layoffs correspond to the last economic downturn. Robert Jones says, Magic Dolphin says game characters will have weird hands. They'll have like 6 fingers. You got to start off small first, and always, but made a grand total of $396,435 million. And Marvel, I don't think he cares. Right, right. The actor got paid. You know what I mean? Like those people got paid. The actors got paid. They made more money, and they gave more money, and then they give a percentage of that money, and they make more money. Right. Screw it, Kylo says. I'm just gonna go full-time GameCube player. Down with modern gaming. I'll see you tomorrow when you're back in a regular game. I did, but I have also a strong as a personal connection to enjoyment of the character as a whole. But I do have my favorites amongst the nonetheless. Chris says Microsoft has the data on how many people played it on Game Pass, and they must not have been impressive. Sure, Hi-Fi Rush was also critically acclaimed, but it also seems like people didn't play it. Chris, that's exactly right. We as consumers look at it and get mad and put our fists up and going, how dare you close that studio down? But we have no idea. We have zero information on what the sales numbers were, what the budget was, right? We don't know that, right? Not until we know what the budget was, not until we know what the profit was or how much money it made, can we actually be mad because we don't know. Like, that's like someone else telling you how to run your household. Right? I know nothing about you and your household, but I'm going to give you some advice here. I'm going to give you some advice on how that you could be better at it. Like, you don't even know what the fuck what I do here. You don't know what my bills are. You don't know what I pay for. You don't know what my house costs, right? You don't know nothing. Okay? So how are you going to give advice to somebody? Okay? That's what's happening right now, right? We don't know any of those what X is in this scenario. We just know that big corporation fired people, we're mad. Which is cool. You can be mad. But we don't know what X is. None of us here, if we were owning something or running something, was losing money, we would sit there and then keep going with it. You would cut your losses. You would cut your losses. Do I believe there'll be another crash like 83? I don't know if there'll be a massive crash like it was in 83 when Nintendo came out and saved the industry. I do believe there'll be some sort of, I mean, I guess you'd call it a crash, but it's different now, right? It's different now because back then there was no internet, right? So to recover, you had to make consoles. You had to make stuff to, now they could shift it on a dime, right? Real fast. So I don't want to say it'll be a massive crash. It'll just be different than what we have going on right now. If that makes sense to you, Spicy. People always act like the game being on Game Pass kills it because of no sales, but don't consider that that fat Game Pass check that accepted for those games past downloads. Here's the thing, though, Argus. That works for third-party games. I don't know if that works for first-party games. Right? They own them. Right? They own them. But yet the third-party game that they're trying to get onto Game Pass day one, they're giving that check to get it onto Game Pass. Where Hi-Fi Rush is not getting a check to put it on Game Pass. They're owned by the company and just put on Game Pass. Paul Gaming says, hot take, Hi-Fi Rush was niche and would have been a waste of money making a second game. I mean, potentially, yeah, Paul. We know 3 to 4 million played Hi-Fi Rush. We don't know the budget of Hi-Fi Rush. We don't know how many people bought Hi-Fi Rush. So for them to go, okay, we're going to make Hi-Fi Rush 2, it's going to take 3 to 5 years to make. Is it worth the money that we're putting in to put it on Game Pass that we know we're not going to make back? You know what I mean? Salty says, I love them both equally, but I'm always willing to give a new person if they embody the character. Oh, you guys are still talking about that? Okay, Paul Gaming says, exactly. 3 million players and nearly 50% didn't even make it to the first boss. Salty Sledge, I'm sure. Oh, you guys are still talking about I'm trying to filter through what you guys are still going back and forth in conversation and what people are reacting for me. Do you think they'll also start raising the price of consoles? So at the very least, they're not taking a loss. No, they wouldn't sell. I mean, yeah, they are going to raise the prices, but they're still going to make a loss. This is why, House, I said that Xbox goes with that Keystone. They give that little box with a controller and 3 months of Game Pass. That's profitable. Making another high-end console, this is why I'm telling you that the industry is going cloud. This is why I'm telling you it's going to go this direction. If they want to make more money, they got to get rid of the physical box, okay, as the majority. There's a take going around that they did just to get all the money from Nintendo sales. But wouldn't that money go to Microsoft anyway? What percentage of it? Yeah. I mean, they're just trying to recoup their costs. That's it. They're trying to get as much stuff as possible. You want to put it out so you can get more money as possible. Remember what I said yesterday, okay? If the game cost $10 million to make, okay, and they had to make, and they're getting $10 a pop on Game Pass. If 1 million people buy it, okay, if 1 million people buy it at $30, take that away from the 10 million, okay, and then now, right? Now you have to take the rest of it. How many copies they need to sell, right? So if Hi-Fi Rush, I don't know how much it cost. I don't know how much it cost. We're doing very basic math. We're not putting in their benefit packages or anything like that. Okay. All right, 10 million divided by $30, right? They need to sell 330,000 copies at the $30 just to break even. Okay, great. So now they sell 100,000 copies. 100,000 copies you take away from that, from the copies they have, and now the rest of the money has to come from Game Pass. So they have to do 3 times the amount, whatever's left over, just to make the money back to break even. I mean, Hi-Fi Rush is a rhythm-based game. It had no chance of being a super mainstream game based on that alone. My humble opinion, is far from the first rhythm game, but none of it crazy popular. Well, a lot of people don't like. Yeah, well, a lot of people don't have actual rhythm. They don't have rhythm. All consoles take a loss regardless because they have the affordable for the market they want. Right. The longer it stays out, the more money they make in the long run. Switch is probably making money now off of their systems. I think Hi-Fi Rush would have performed better if it was under Nintendo brand. Potentially, yeah, Krebsy. If it was Nintendo itself. If Hi-Fi Rush came out at launch on Nintendo at the same time, potentially, yeah. I can agree with that. It's a great game. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that everyone was like, "Oh yeah, it's a great game," and they didn't play it. They didn't play it. We can look up the achievement lists. Okay, they didn't play it. They didn't buy it first off, and then they didn't play it second off. And then these are the people that come out like, "Oh, it's a great game, great game." Show me where you were. Show me how far you got in the game. Nintendo makes money on consoles. PlayStation starts making money on consoles 1 year in. Xbox doesn't make money on consoles. Right, because they're not selling enough. I don't know if PlayStation's making money on 1 year in. Is there stats on that one, Krebsy? Is there something that said that? I would say 3 years in. I don't know about 1 year in. But again, I don't know what it says. It still raises game price, Game Pass price. Still a heck of a deal. Sure, but how big of a deal if it was $30? Are you still paying that $30 a month? $30 a month for 12 months? Are you paying $360 for the year? You might. Lots of other people might not. They don't even want to pay the $10 a month right now. Do you think Rocksteady and Ninja Theory will be shut down? Ninja Theory I am a little worried about. But here's the thing. I didn't play the first game. I'm not playing their second game. And it has nothing to do if it's a bad game. It's a game that I'm not interested in. And I'm not going to buy a game that I'm not interested in just to support a company that I don't have any interest in. Right? So, if Ninja Theory is a niche game and people enjoy it, but it doesn't sell enough copies for the budget it is, which we don't know the budget, right? If it's 50 million or whatever, right? And we won't know the game sales. But you can't be surprised if Ninja Theory comes out and it gets shut down because it doesn't make the game sales. Now, you can look at it and say, well, Microsoft's not advertising for it. Well, they're not advertising it to me, right? Because we checked my... I'll turn it on again today. Let me see if they're... Maybe they're advertising it for me today, okay? But they're not advertising to me. But I didn't play the first one, and I'm also not their customer base, right? And now marketing can filter in like a surgeon's knife on who can see it and who can't see it, right? Who they're going for, right? Yeah. So I still have nothing on my screen, nothing that says Hellblade's coming out on my main home screen, nothing. Okay. Now, if I go to browse the store, we do see Xbox Game Pass, or I'm sorry, Xbox Game Studio sales up to 50% off, and Hellblade 1 is up there. Okay? But I do not see anywhere on here that Hellblade 2 is coming out in 14 days. Nowhere. Again, I am not the clientele, so obviously maybe they're not marketing it towards me because I didn't buy the first one. Maybe if I bought the first one, okay, and then all of a sudden, boom, it pops up and says, oh, well, if you like the first one, you'll like the second one. PlayStation 5 did start to make profit per sale, but the whole hardware market in the world got messed up and the flipped again. Mo says I beat it. That's the problem, engagement. I beat it, though. I didn't beat the game. I got to the final boss and I stopped. Right? I did that with Tunic, and I did that with Hi-Fi Rush. Okay? I fought the last boss. I couldn't beat it, and I was like, I'll come back to it later, and then I never went back. The founder of Ninja Theory left? That's a bad sign. But here's the thing about that. The founders of these companies that leave, how many of you flip businesses for a living? Any of you out there that flip businesses for a living? I know a couple people that start businesses up, find a person to buy it, and sell it. And then they go back and start the exact same company again, and then sell it to somebody else. Okay? So when the founders make a studio, because they want to make a studio, they want to make games, and then they sell their studio off to somebody else, and then they leave. Twitch has generated more profit for Nintendo than the previous 35 years combined. The marketing is a tweet. Right now. I know people on Facebook have seen it and stuff like that. Again, I'm not seeing it, but then again, I didn't buy it. But you would think that people that have Xbox, you would think it would be front and center on people that have Xbox because they're already in your ecosystem. Right? Quintar says, companies got to stop expecting a game to make a certain amount. Sorry to tell them, the consumers totally control that. Right, Quintar, but they also want to take advantage of IPs that know they're going to make money. Call of Duty, right? Diablo. Like, they know these things make money. And that game will make more money than all the other games that they make in the next 3 to 5 years. One season pass, one monkey glove in a cosmetic store will make more money than the complete game in development for 3 to 5 years. I've had an ad for Hellblade 2 on my dashboard for the last few days, and I have it pre-installed. But Ford, you played the first one? Did you play the first one? No, he left in 2020. He still sold his company to whoever, right? I put about 20 minutes into Hi-Fi. Haven't gone back yet. I think I'll try to go back and beat it sometime, though. Good game. It is a good game. I think it's been found out that the monthly sub is about $15 per month. Like a sweet spot. Well, I think that sweet spot's going to go up to 20 or $19.99. I have it, but I haven't played it. Right, so they marketed it to you because you bought the first one. It's not on my Xbox at all. Right? It's not on my Xbox at all. But I didn't play the first one. I guarantee you if I play the first one, Hellblade 2 will pop up on my Xbox because marketing now, because of IPs, because of email addresses, because of your search history, because of games you've played, it knows exactly what you want. So it markets. It's much more efficient marketing now, right? They don't have to mass market it to, like, in a theater because that's not who they're going for. They're going back for the people that actually played the first one. Hellblade is a sort of game that needs to do the talking for itself when it releases. On top of that, it's a kind of a niche, walking action cinematic experience. I don't see the point of spending hundreds of $1 million on an 8-hour game for marketing. Right. It was on my front page last night. I played the first one. That's my point. That's my point, Dolphin. I think the reason it's not showing up on my system is because I have no interest in it. And they know that you played the first one, so they're like, oh, he played the first one. We can get him to come back for the second one. Yeah, it's literally nowhere on my dashboard, just Star Wars titles or June 4th and Fallout saying that get Game Pass. Right. Because they know who you are. Right. My thing right now, because of the type of games I play, it's putting them up there, right? So, like, all the stuff that I'm interested in, Star Wars, shooting games, right? It's putting that front and center. Right? And then it's telling me Xbox Game Studio sale, just in case. Maybe you like Ori. Maybe you like Flight Sim. Didn't the first one win awards? Yeah. Yeah, it won a crap ton of awards for, like, sound design and a bunch of other stuff. They said it will be in theaters. What, the advertisements, Mo? That's really good because no one's going to the theaters. So that'll be good. That'll be good wasted marketing. Yeah. That'll be a good place to put the marketing. Theaters are closing down every day. Nobody's going to the theaters. Let's market in the theaters for a niche game about head problems. I'm sure it'll do really good there. I did the pre-install on January 18th, 2024. And that's basically, well, you paid for it back then, right? Because you can't pre-install unless you pay for it. See, I think what Game Pass should do I think what Game Pass should do is does what Steam does. Okay? They need to put it on your wish list. Put it on your favorite it, right? Because then Xbox would know how many people are interested. How many people are interested in that game. Even though it's on Game Pass, they would know. Right. On Game Pass, though. Right. Yeah, but Mo, how many people played and bought the first one? Do we know that number? Oh, for God's sakes. Okay. 1 million copies. 1 million copies. Total? Oh, this is 2021. Okay. Hellblade Sacrifice has sold 1 million copies. After arriving on Xbox One in April, Hellblade Sacrifice has sold 1 million copies. Developer Ninja Theory announced that the new sales milestone for the game and thanked fans. Hellblade originally released on PlayStation 4 and PC last year, okay, in 2020. In November, Ninja Theory noted that Hellblade hit 500,000 downloads and already turned a profit for the studio. And just this month, independent developer is required by Microsoft, along with Playground Games, Undead Labs, and other teams. Okay, it sold 1 million. So now you're looking for the same people. Now I have a question: is Hellblade 2 coming out on PlayStation day one? Okay, but the budget for the first one was 10 million, and this is 50 million, so they times it by 5. Okay, so let's do some quick, easy, basic math. Okay, so the first one was 10 million. $10 million for the first one. The first one was cost $30, right? They sold 1 million copies. So $30 a pop. They have to sell 333,000 copies. Okay? So they sold 1 million. So they made $30 million. $30 million off a $10 million thing. Okay. And now this one cost $20 million more than they made off the first one. That's bad business right there. Just letting you know. Bad business right there. Okay. So now because it cost $50 million, they have to sell 1.6 million. So all of a sudden, they had to sell 333,000 off the first one because it cost them $10 million to make. They now have to sell 1.6 million. Sell 1.6 million. Is it $50 for this one? So they have to sell 1 million. They got to sell 1 million copies. But it's on Game Pass. On Game Pass. And it's not on PlayStation day one. Is that correct? So it came out on PlayStation and PC first. It sold 500,000 units as of November, and then it sold another 500,000 on Xbox. So now we think that all of Xbox is going to make that up. It's not good. Not good. 5 times the budget with with 2/3 less of the actual player base. That's good. It's a good move. Maybe Microsoft doesn't care and hopes it sells Game Pass. Sure. But from the first game to this one, they're losing half of the population. Or 1/3 of the population that can't play it because they have a PlayStation. Unless those people have an Xbox or a PC to play on. It's a dumb move. It really is a dumb move to take a game that was on PlayStation first. The first game was on PlayStation and PC first. Then it came to your platform second. Then you bought them. And now you're not going to put it on the other system that's outselling you 3-1. Give me 1 second. It sells on PC for sure. Maybe I'm going to try it on Game Pass. First though, a lot of people will buy the Steam because of the frames per second and the price. Ninja Theory themselves said they aren't putting it on PlayStation, but to see how that turned out if Insomniac and Spider-Man. Look, all I'm saying is they sold 1 million copies and 500,000 of them came from PC, PlayStation 4 and PC. We don't know how many sold on what platform. We just know that half of the game sales that came out for the first game were on a platform that it's not even on this time. That's a dumb business move. I'm just saying. This has nothing to do with Microsoft or Sony, Mo. That is a stupid business move. I think they made a good chunk of the 50 million back on the Unreal Engine 5 poster game. So you think they got paid to use the Unreal Engine 5 to promote it? Is that what you're saying, Krebsy? I mean, that's a good theory. Do we know if it's true? Most likely more on PC? Sure, you could say that, Mo, but you don't know that. They're paying Epic to use the engine. There are cases, Paul, and I'm not saying this one is one of them, but I'm saying there are cases for other things in the past that other companies say, hey, if you use this, well, you know what I mean? Like, who knows? I can see it happening. But again, if there's no actual report on it, then it's just hearsay. I mean, we'd all speculate, but you can't. I speculate all the time. You can't be like, yep, this is It's fact. All right. The next story I want to talk about is that Xbox cuts might not be finished while Game Pass debates go on over pricing and Call of Duty. Okay, if you guys like what I do here, I go over stories for the first time on stream live, and we have a conversation back and forth with chat. If you like what I do here, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to about noon Eastern. So, Xbox cut might not be finished while Game Pass debates go on over pricing and Call of Duty. So Xbox is hitting the headlines for all the wrong reasons this week after closing studios, but it also sounds like this could be more to come. I also find this a weird timing. This comes like the month before, and all the stuff's coming out just long enough for the news cycle to kind of weed off right before the Xbox showcase, and the Summer Game Fest. Because when they start doing stuff, jangle keys, and everyone's like forgetting, like, it looks good, right? It's just kind of weird timing about all this stuff. Okay. So it says, what a week for Xbox. Not a good week, but still, what a week. Following a bombshell news, studio closures within the Bethesda stable, not least the creators of the critically acclaimed Hi-Fi Rush Tango Gameworks. But these aren't the only cuts happening. And the new report from Bloomberg, Jason Schreier, is anything to go by. Schreier claims that there's also a wider cost-cutting exercise going on within Xbox right now. That is, the several staff members of different roles across ZeniMax have been offered voluntary severances this week. Now, the report goes on to claim that others in the wider Xbox organization have been told to expect more cuts, too. Nobody wants to hear that. Well, of course, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that they're getting fired. It doesn't make it right or wrong. It's a thing that happens, but no one wants to be told they're done. Schreier also reports on some internal meetings within Xbox following yesterday's announcement. Some of those main points include Matt Booty praising Hi-Fi Rush, but also not suggesting why Tango had been closed down. Also, Redfall was apparently not the reason Arcane Austin got the axe. Oh, no? Well, that's interesting. If it wasn't for the broken, buggy, unfinished game that they put out that they still haven't put the DLC out for, is not the reason why Arcane Austin... It's got to be worse than that, right? I would love to hear this. I would love to hear why they actually got let go. Okay? Maybe it's because the disgruntled employees that didn't want to do the work that they were told to do originally when they purchased the company. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Just putting it out there. Oh, and apparently Tango was readying a pitch for the sequel for Hi-Fi Rush, and we're all mad that's not going to happen. But the tone seems to be what could garner from reading between the lines an internal email announcing the news that they want to tighten up the operations and not to be spread as thin. It definitely doesn't make it better, though. Hard to see who really wins from this. Okay. A second report released by Tom Warren, The Verge, also examines the fallout from studios' closures, but increasingly adds some new juice to the cup. Internal debates also have been going on for a while over putting a Call of Duty into Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, and perhaps crucially, the revenue Microsoft could lose out of it if they did. Now, I have a question. They can't put Call of Duty on Game Pass unless Ubisoft does it, correct? Didn't they give the rights to the streaming part of it? Oh, it's the streaming part. That's the streaming part, not the actual Game Pass part. They would be dumb to put the new game on Game Pass, but they would be smart to take all the catalog of the old, which we've said in the past, onto Game Pass, especially even the old Activision games, even let alone the Call of Duty games, like the Ultimate Alliance games, the Transformers games. There's so many games that Activision has under that they could put on Game Pass to give more value to Game Pass, right? Which I said once they did that, it would raise the price. Call of Duty is one of the biggest selling games each and every single year, and one of the crown jewels in Microsoft's newly expanded game portfolio. Whether the Game Pass revenue would deliver the results or not, well, I guess this is what the debate is over. Okay? So Warren also reports that there has also been a discussion of over-increasing price of Game Pass Ultimate. Let's be real, Game Pass Ultimate is phenomenal value already. I'm not sure where it would be a widespread outage if the price went up, but equally, subscribers will want to see something for it. Prices rise for sake of prices rises will also hardly build bridges. Well, this is the thing I've talked about in the past. I said that they'll probably take, I said they'll take Battle.net and move it on over to get those people, pay $15 for World of Warcraft, and also not really raise the price, but influx of new people coming in. But also, if they did put the other stuff in there, they would have different They would have different tiers, sort of like what PlayStation is doing, sort of like what Netflix does, sort of like what any other streaming service does. They'll have another tier that goes up even higher, right? So, continue here. Right? So, as I continue here, it says, here's the thing. None of this is good news. People losing their jobs is terrible, and it always smacks a little harder when it's the people on the ground putting the grind while executing. Try it and explain it away. The other side of the coin is Microsoft is the world's most valuable company. Currently, the only company on Earth with a market cap of over $3 trillion. Money is at the heart of everything, and it also makes more that you want to make, even more, and so on. And so on. Right? So I've never worked as he says, I've never worked at a company like Microsoft, but I have worked in roles where budget is particular cost needed to manage. So within the niche of their lives, lest the directors get unhappy. But Microsoft profits the bank account would make Scrooge McDuck drool. There's also a hearing about the cuts and more cuts. Okay, it's unfortunate side of the business world that makes everything happen. It's not an execute and never okay. And it's honestly, I wouldn't disagree with anyone that says Microsoft has messed up here. Most definitely with the messages. Yeah, but this is insert corporation here. Apple, Disney, Amazon, Google, the clothing store, Rue that you just said, right? Nintendo. It doesn't matter what corporation. A corporation's a corporation. A corporation survives by making money go up. This is why I call them the Unicron. Okay, they have to keep eating. Okay, it seems to be running a theme here at the moment. Remember when the rumors started swirling about Xbox games going out to Nintendo and PlayStation, and then suddenly hazily organized interview with Phil Spencer came out explaining things. He says, now we have multiple studios closures, potentially more cuts on the way. No idea still over what's going on and what's happening with the Call of Duty and the Game Pass. But most of all, nothing from Xbox. Everything we know, we're getting from leaked internal emails and sources detailing meetings. And even in that, there's a lot of corporate speak. Xbox has a big showcase next month, but right now, it's hard to feel excited for it for every step forward. It also seems that to be a cloud that hangs over the future of the brand. And my first manager told me on my first ever day, on my very first job, that communication is key. Right now, does anyone really know what to think? Now, I will admit that they are not very outspoken or communicating with us, but at the same time, do they have to communicate with us, the customers? It would be nice. I'm not going to lie to you. It would be nice to know what's going on. But I'm trying to think, is there another market that we have to know before this stuff comes out? Right? Do I want to know what's happening with the car companies when the next car that I want to buy? Like, they have to tell me what's going on for the next car? Is there another movie company coming out where they have to tell me the movie's coming out before it comes out? Right? Like, nothing. That's not in any other industry. But for some reason, the consumers of video games, we want to know what they're doing, even though you're not a stakeholder. Now, if you're a stockholder in these companies, then you know, right? I just had a meeting yesterday with one of the stocks I own for a company. There was a revenue call. I could tune in, okay, and listen to what's happening because I'm a stockholder of that company, right? So, like, I don't understand this. Like, sure, you could be mad that they're not communicating with us because you want to know where you're spending your money. But if they told you ahead of time, or if they told you a week later why you should buy an Xbox or why you should buy a PlayStation, does it really matter? No, because nothing happens if you don't buy it day one. Nothing happens if you don't buy it week one or month one, okay? Most people don't even buy a new system until 3 to 4 years into the life cycle of the system. So even if Microsoft doesn't say shit about nothing, and they come out with the next console next year or 2 years from now, most people would not buy that console until 3 years or 4 years into the cycle. So I don't understand where this comes from that they got to communicate with us. They don't have to communicate with anybody. This doesn't have a Microsoft thing. This is any corporation. Unless you're a stockholder, they don't have to say nothing about nothing unless you're a person that's invested money into their company. And why is this company not making money for me? I want to know why it's not making money for me. And that is the people that need to know what's happening with the business. All the rest of us that you're paying $60 for a video game, you don't need to know nothing. That's reality. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And if you like what I do here, please make sure you check out some of my other videos. Thanks for watching. Let's see what you guys are saying. I know people will look at me and go, this guy's a shill. This guy's a corporate shill. No, I'm a realist. I'm a realist. I don't live underneath a rock. I'm waiting for Phil to start the show of our studios that have been hard at work, blah, blah, blah. Happy to show, blah, blah, blah. We need better for our players, blah, blah, blah. Stealth says, Warner Brothers blames Suicide Squad killed the Justice League for quarterly earnings loss. CEO David Zaslav called the release disappointing in today's financial call. No shit. Tell us something we don't know. Refreshing article. Yes, a showcase in a month. Why would they talk now? The way I'm hearing everything, they think that 1900 happened, and they told us that no, it didn't happen. It's happening, waves people. The other companies don't communicate at all. No company has to communicate with anybody, right? Unless you're a stockholder, unless you actually are an investor into the company. And then they do. And then this is how people get the inside information. Come on, Hilly. Akuta Papa says, good Lord, it's funny to watch people covering Hi-Fi Rush and saying absolutely nothing. We're entitled to know what we want to know, not what we need to know. Well, Chief, literally, like, do you go to your local, like, not you, just in general, do you go to your local business, like, I don't know, hardware store? What are you guys doing? Are you guys going to rearrange this thing over here? Are you guys going to kind of do any kind of upgrades? Are you getting any kind of new stuff in, new product in? Are you guys going to remodel anything? It's like, none of your fucking business what we're doing. You're going to buy the screws and nuts? Yeah, we moved them over there. They're over there, right? Now, if you're the guy that invested in the company, you walk in, hey, how's it going? So how's the revamp doing, right? Like, nobody cares, right? It's none of your business what they're doing until it is your business, and you'll know what their plan is, right? The other article I just talked about they've lost their identity. When they decide to tell us what their identity is, that's when we'll know. You think after the unplanned podcast, the next time something like that happens again, it would calm the flames. But here we are yet again with no word from Phil. But I said it last time, Krebsy. I was like, they literally came out and said nothing, right? He came out on stage and said nothing. And I said last time, he doesn't have to say anything. And I'll stand by that. He doesn't have to say anything, right? Because you as the customer, me as the customer, anybody else as a customer, if Xbox comes out and says tomorrow that we have a new system, then you know. Then you know, right? Before that moment of the actual official talk point, you don't need to know nothing. You don't need to know nothing. We don't need to know roadmaps. We don't need to know the buffs and nerfs that are coming to the game. You need to know nothing about nothing, right? But yet, if you give an inch, we'll take a mile. Absolutely, Ford. Absolutely. Here's the thing. Everyone has a boss. Everybody has a boss. Right? Even the tippity top has a boss. And their boss is the people that invested in the company. I'm not defending Phil. Microsoft has done some really stupid things. But they've done some really stupid things because they've opened their mouth. Or it gets leaked. And then it gets like a bad game of telephone, which is 10 times worse on the internet. Right? See, Dave Rose just came in and says, apparently a showcase of Xbox's upcoming stuff leaked. And one thing is a Game Pass price hike. I'm not surprised by this. Okay? I've said this for years that as more companies get bought up by them, they're going to put more stuff on Game Pass and the price is going to go up. But people like to defend this and they say, well, no, it's not going to go up. It is going to go up. Right? And I said, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but it is going to go up. Now, we don't know if that's true. It's leaked. And if it happens, I'm not surprised. Mo says, why when every time they do something, Phil needs to come out and pay you on the pat you on the back and tell you it's going to be okay? Did he say that about Hiroki when PlayStation shut down London studios? No, and again, Mo, this is why I'm saying he doesn't have to say anything. None of these people have to tell you anything. The only people he has to answer to is his higher ups and the board of directors. Right? I'm not defending Microsoft. I'm not defending corporate. Just the reality is, you don't do this to your local businesses, so why would it be any different for a mega corporation? Unless you are a stockholder, you don't need to know nothing. You want to know stuff? You got to pay for it. Information is expensive. And you're not going to know stuff because if you know stuff, that's called inside information. If you know inside information, that's against the law. I would say like 98% of the people on the internet don't know anything about corporate business and how money works in companies and what makes the world go around. If you're a shareholder, then you got the power. I get info from NVIDIA, basic policies because I own stock. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I drink and I know things. It's because you drink, Hilly. It's because you drink. That makes you know things. It taps into your that side of your brain. I love this. I love this next thing, and then we're gonna watch two videos after this one. Right, this one was short. I like the title of this. I like the title of this. Right, because after buying up studios, Xbox says it doesn't have the resource to run them. This can't be real, right? Did this come out of someone's mouth? See, I don't know because I haven't read the article yet. Right, I literally read the article for the first time on stream. Did anyone read this article? Did this actually come out of someone's mouth? This come out of Matt Booty's mouth. Hiroki did say something when London closed. People in his position of Phil Hiroki need to say something because silence leads to speculation and or brand damage. Not saying anything or saying something leads to brain damage. Brain damage and brand damage. Okay? If Phil comes out and says something, what is that going to do? Half the people are going to go, I like Phil. Phil's a good guy. And the other half of people is like, he's full of shit. He's a liar. Right? Now, if he doesn't say something, 50% of the people are going to be like, I like Phil. Phil's a good guy. And the other people are going to be saying, Phil's a liar. He's a piece of shit. I don't care what he has to say. Right? So, what's the difference? What's the difference? It is Kotaku. Yeah. Okay, so after buying up studios, Xbox says it doesn't have the resources to run them. Got really small print here. Okay. After shutting down multiple Bethesda studios, Xbox Bethesda's leadership had held a town hall meeting with a staff discussion of closures, explaining what the company's studio had been spread too thin, and they wanted to focus on fewer projects moving forward. So I have a question. Isn't this what you wanted to hear? Isn't this what you wanted to hear? There's just said something, right? This is the say something. Right? On May 7th, Xbox announced that it's closing 3 studios: Tango Gameworks, Hi-Fi Rush, Arcane Studios, Redfall, and Alpha Dog Games' Mighty Doom. The 4th support studio, Roundhouse Studios, being absorbed by the team behind Elder Scrolls Online. According to the new report On May 8th, the aftermath of these surprising shutdowns, Xbox President Matt Booty and ZeniMax head Jill Braff held a large meeting with the staff and lay out the reasoning behind the cuts. As reports by Bloomberg during the meeting of Booty praised, come on, thank God I didn't put praised Booty. Hi-Fi Rush, but wouldn't go into specific details on the studio behind the colorful action game that had been shut down. Speaking more broadly about the closings, Booty reportedly explained that Xbox and Bethesda studios have become spread too thin, the peanut butter on the bread. And then also team leaders felt understaffed, and the idea of being that by closing studios, Xbox would free up resources elsewhere within the company. Booty also told staff at the meeting that the Arcane Austin closing had nothing to do with Redfall flopping with the fans and the critics. I would love to know the reason. See, now, I'm not asking to know the reason, but man, I would love to know the reason why Arcane Studios closed down if it wasn't because of the broken, buggy, unfinished game that they didn't want to work on before Microsoft bought them and then didn't finish out the game after they bought them. I would really like to know that information, but I know I'm not eligible for that information. But man, I would like to be a fly on Booty's booty. Okay? So reportedly, both Tango and Arcane Austin had pitched games to work on the next, including Hi-Fi Rush sequel, and possibly a new Dishonored. Similar single-player immersive sim-like game, those likely won't happen. Now, Braff allegedly said that she hoped that closing some studios would allow Bethesda ZeniMax to focus on fewer projects in the future. Now, I like reading between the lines, right? I like reading between the lines. Braff allegedly said, we don't know for sure, okay, said that she hoped the closing of some studios would allow Bethesda ZeniMax to focus. So, hope. She's hoping that closing these studios would give them the ability to focus on fewer projects in the future. Okay? It says, quote, "It's hard to support 9 studios across the world with lean central teams with every growing plate of things to do," she said. According to the recording Bloomberg reviewed, I think we were about to topple over. Okay? So this is upper management within ZeniMax saying we're spinning too many plates. We need help. So Microsoft came over and went and just knocked down some plates. So there you go. You got less things to do, right? So we'll see about that. Tango and Arcade were trying to hire more people while pitching new games, and both Braff and Booty reportedly suggested that the long, expensive road those teams faced before being able to release something new was the main reason for closing the studios. So the problem is, God, I'm so right. They don't want to spend $200 to $250 million on a game that takes 5 to 7 years because they're going to get an 80 Metacritic score, and it costs too much to get it out. They want to lower the cost of these things to get them out in 3 to 5 years. And when I say 3, I really mean 18 months, and then finish it over the next other 18 months, okay, so they can get this game out the door and get their middle tier 80 whatever because they're putting it on Game Pass. If they add too much, then they're not going to get their value back on Game Pass. So they have to keep the costs low for the games that are going on Game Pass day and date. Otherwise, it's not profitable enough. Okay? So Tango and Arcade were trying to hire more people while pitching the games. Okay? Braff and Booty already read that. Okay? According to people that spoke to Bloomberg. Now, it's also reported that ever since the massive $69 billion Activision Blizzard acquisition in 2023, Microsoft leaders have been ramping up the scrutiny of the Xbox division. The Verge reported on Wednesday that the executives at Microsoft and Xbox had discussed not adding Call of Duty games to Game Pass as raising the price of Game Pass Ultimate. However, nothing is in concrete yet. Now, Microsoft leaders taking a bigger interest in Xbox might help explain why Booty and others are looking for cut costs. Either way, it's likely more folks at Xbox will lose their jobs in the future. Okay, well, I mean, obviously that's a guarantee. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but down the road. I mean, it's almost like they want job security because the closer you get to finishing your game, then you're done with the game. And if they don't need you, they'll let you go. So it's almost like these people are now, they're incentivized not to finish the game, right? It's almost like they're incentivized to, I'm not saying they are, but they kind of tank the game a little bit because they know they're not going to have a job after this, right? And they want to kind of like stick it to the man, right? And I don't blame them in any way, shape, or form if they have that thought process. So it is very, like right now, Hellblade 2, right? Ninja Theory's on the block, right? They're next up on the stage, right? Game comes out. If it does great, they might keep their job, right? If it doesn't do great, they lose their job, right? And that's the problem I see with not just Microsoft, with anybody in the industry, that if it does great, they're not safe. But if it does fail, they're definitely not safe, right? There's no upside to this. There's no upside. So let me know what you guys think, right? Because them saying that they had too many things going on, and now they can, in the future, now that they're not working on Hi-Fi Rush 2, or not because they're working on Prey 2, that these studios now can focus. They needed to hire more people. Instead of hiring more people, they closed those other studios down and moved majority of those people to other studios so they can have more people instead of hiring different people, right? That's what it seems like they're saying. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. And if you like what I do here, please make sure you check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. I doubt their showcase are usually pretty mid. The only people that really want him to talk over fanboys that hate on him. Right, because even though whatever he says at clips, they're going to shit on it anyway. I think he needs to come out and say something. People are upset with the way they handled the Redfall situation. But Rose, the people that are upset about Redfall didn't play Redfall anyway. We knew before they even bought the company that the company didn't want to make the game. That's not a Microsoft problem. That was a ZeniMax, Bethesda, Arcane Studio problem. Then Microsoft bought them, and they inherited the problems with that. So now Phil Spencer has to answer to the fuck-ups of ZeniMax, Bethesda, and Arcane management. So many booty jokes possible. They were not the last three showcases. They were also awful. They didn't show a single game anybody wanted, and I agree the last couple of PlayStation ones were not great either. Maybe a single game you want to play. The people who spent their money for the bigger edition were promised stuff and care. I agree with you there. Look, I've said it. There's no difference for the people that bought the bike back edition for Redfall and then the bigger edition for Starfield, or the bigger edition for any other game, right? Promising people a season pass and stuff ahead of time is not good business strategy, right? And not you, but us as consumers giving them $130 for promised DLC in the future that's not out yet, that you don't know what's going to happen. They could close the studio down. That's a problem. Not every game needs a AAA game. I prefer the small AA games. I don't have to sink 100 hours into. Not every game needs to be a live service either. For us, no. For them, it does. Because if they're going to put 3 to 5 years into a product, Ford, they would rather put 3 to 5 years in that product that they can keep updating and make money on, because once that game comes out, they got to work on another 3 to 5 years, 5 to 7 years to make another game to get that lump sum, right? The last few PlayStation ones were like that for me. I showed 1 or 2 games I was interested in, but next one, I think it's going to have some good stuff, but remains to be seen. Now that's a big brain take. Don't finish the game so you stay on payroll. Guy digging a ditch. One guy's standing there. Need help with that? Nope. No, we're good. Day pay. It works for every other industry, Jones. Why not? Why not for them? Look in Discord General. All right, give me a second. Verified picture of Matt Booty's booty. What is this that you put at clips? Content creators stream event. Join us for the stream. Receive alpha keys. Okay. Not that. Okay. Okay. Salty sent me something. Selling out selling out on CD keys for Hellblade 2. How do you... Can I ask a question? How do you run out of digital keys? How do you run out of digital keys? That is 100%, okay, to make it look like it's selling well. Like, you could have put 2 up there and be like, look, it's selling out. Digital keys. Like, what? They teach us good lessons. Wait for a deal. Skull and Bones is $30 now. Yeah, you're welcome, Road. And I still wouldn't buy it. It'll go on sale even more. Ridiculous. All right, I want to watch Upper Echelon's video a little bit here, talking about greed. I'm okay if I don't. I got a backlog to play. Great games just to finish Rise of Ronin, and I got Stellar Blade to start this weekend. There you go. Yeah, and even those, Rose. Let's be honest. You have a backlog more than that, right? You have older games you still haven't played, correct? This is your backlog of newer games. Akuda Papa says Skull and Bones hits $1, then it'll be worth it. I'll be honest, Akuda Papa. The only way I would play it if it's on Game Pass. That's it. All right, we're watching Upper Echelon. The video came out today, or earlier today, or yesterday, or whatever. It's like 15 hours old. He's a big streamer. We're gonna watch it because I like watching his stuff, and he talks about something here. I started listening to the beginning of it, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna listen to the rest of it. I wanna listen to it on chat. So that's what we're gonna do. Right? We're gonna bring it up. So Upper Echelon has a video, and we're gonna make sure it's good sound.
All right. Today's video is all about criticizing video game industry practices. Yes, that's very common for me, but with a particular story coming out recently from Microsoft targeting game studios under Bethesda, the reality of how far and how badly this industry has fallen is becoming extremely obvious. Little bit of context here. I'm not against the process of making money. I think people deserve to be paid for their work. They deserve to be rewarded for creativity. And I would even go so far as to say that high-pressure decision makers, those being executives and high-level strategy advisors, among others, deserve to be compensated rather generously when they influence.
So what he's talking about right now is obviously he's not against business. He wants people to make money. Capitalism's capitalism, and absolutely, right? So obviously, when you see someone at the head of a studio, you don't know what their story is as far as what do they do. Like, you know your story, right? So if right now you're digging a ditch somewhere, or you're a bag boy, you're making coffee, or you own your own business, you know where you've been and what you've done to get to the position that you're in, right? If you happen to own your own business or whatever, you're making money. You're allowed to make money, okay? But then there's the absorbent amount of money.
Influence company direction in a positive way. However, what we see right now in the video game industry is not fair compensation, it's parasitic leeching. And it's gotten so bad lately, it's effectively metastasizing like a cancer. Those are very strong words, I know, but allow me to back them up and discuss what's really happening, because when the full picture is laid out completely, I'm pretty sure the evidence will be rather compelling. Let's begin with Microsoft, before expanding the picture in a way that will hopefully drive the point home fully. Microsoft, on May 7th of 2024, announced through a staff memo internally that the company would be shutting down 3 game studios under Bethesda, those being Arcane Austin, Alpha Dog Studios, and Tango Gameworks. There will also be a shift where Roundhouse Games would be absorbed by ZeniMax Media, but for right now I'm focusing on raw studio closures, not so much a basic restructure.
Right, so he's talking about just basic stuff, not that specifically, generic.
3 studios shut down by Microsoft, but why does it matter? Well, it matters because right around the exact same time, separated by a few months here, but that's not really a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick.
Good old Bobby. Bobby Kotick, set to receive almost $400 million windfall payout from Microsoft's sale after taking a massive pay cut last year. Well, bravo for Bobby Kotick for taking that pay cut. What was he going to do? Taking that pay cut, thank God.
Number 45 on the As You Sow list of most overpaid CEOs in America already before this, was retiring from the company at the end of 2023. Except he wasn't just leaving, he was also getting a roughly $400 million bonus as a result of the
That smirk on his face. He doesn't give two craps about what anyone thinks here. He doesn't give two craps about me and you and what we think about him.
Microsoft acquisition, largely because of the stock he holds on his way out the door, and therein lies the problem. See, Arcane Austin, on LinkedIn at least, is listed as having between 51 and 200 employees. Alpha Dog Games has between 11 and 50, and Tango Gameworks is 51 to 200 as well. More precisely, the numbers are about 150 at Arcane, 15 at Alpha, and 65 at Tango. But for the sake of math, let's round up here and say maybe 250 total. 250 employees spread across 3 studios, where those studios have been responsible for some truly incredible games, by the way, like Prey, for instance, which was a very fun experience that...
Now, how many of you played Prey? Okay, Prey was good, but it didn't sell well, right? Financially, now, there's two sides here. There's the art form of a studio coming out, making a game, making the art that they want to make a game, sell a game. And then there's the business side. Right? The art side is they made a game, they sold a game, they're proud of their game, they like their game. And then there's the business side where they go, did that game sell well? Right? They don't care about the art part. They don't care about, right? They just want to know what the bottom line is. Did it make money? That's the two different sides.
That, in my opinion at least, deserve to have a sequel. That's a bit of a tangent, but there's some really cool games from these studios that I think deserve more attention. Regardless, 250 employees, 3 studios, but how much does it realistically cost them to operate? This is where it gets tricky, so I'll be assuming some inaccurate numbers just to demonstrate my point fully. But
this is he's about to do, I think, what I did, which is generic numbers, just put it out there without putting the all the other stuff in there, like
the real
pension and stuff like that.
Even worse, so please keep that in mind. According to ZipRecruiter, the average salary for a game developer is $108,000 per.
$108,000, $52 an hour. I was when I stopped working, my hourly rate working on a film was around 45 to 52. That's basically what mine was when I worked on a film job.
Per year, with the upper limit being about 180. So let's...
And that's different for film, feature, and television and whatnot.
Assume 180. This would mean that 250 employees, all being paid the absolute maximum of their industry range, would cost roughly $45 million per year.
Okay, so listen to what he just said. So all of them, out of all the studios they just closed, it would have cost them $45 million, okay, per year to cover that.
Side note, I do know that there's like health insurance and stuff. And
I understand.
Retirement funds. Like, there's all sorts of things that go in.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that goes in there. But just for the generic number.
Into this, so I know it's not a precise number in that way, but this is, again, just for the sake of basic math. $45 million per year is just over 1/10 of the bonus structure awarded to Bobby Kotick.
Right. Bobby Kotick got $400 million. It cost $45 million to employ the people they just got rid of, right? So that means they could run that company for almost 10 years. That's almost 2 games per studio that they could have ran.
Which means that the windfall bonus an exiting CEO received could have kept mostly every single employee that they just fired on the payroll at their maximum industry pay, or maybe slightly below, which would have been like 80% higher for most of them than what they got before that anyway, for a fucking decade. That's insane.
That's right. For a decade. They could have funded them for a decade. Now let's go back to how much Game Pass makes per month. Doing bare minimum.
Now, I know what some people are thinking here. Those are stock options. It's different than a cash bonus. And yes, you are 100% right about that. But let's dig into why the stock...
This is Upper Echelon's video, Unchecked Greed in Gaming, how the industry is destroying itself.
Stock was priced so highly in the first place that Microsoft would now be awarding hundreds of millions of dollars to this man as he leaves. According to Activision Blizzard's second quarter financials in 2022, net revenue by platform was as follows. $376 million from console, $332 million from PC, and $831 million.
What's kind of disingenuous, Krebsy? What Game Pass makes per month?
million from mobile/ancillary, which means mobile games and the microtransactions attached to them. 831 million. That is significantly more than both PC.
Hold on, I missed what he said here. Hold on, let me back up a little bit.
Awarding hundreds of millions of dollars to this man as he leaves. According to Activision Blizzard's second quarter financials in 2022, net revenue by platform was as follows: 376 million from console, 332 million from PC, and 831 million from
mobile. 831 million from mobile.
Mobile/ancillary, which means mobile games and the microtransactions attached to them. 831 million. That is significantly more than both PC and console platforms.
Bobby got $400 million from owning. He says that in the video. He literally says that in the video about the stock options
combined, and it showcases plain as day that Activision Blizzard has been deliberately shifting away from the...
Krebsy, are you listening to what he's saying? He literally just said what you said. He's just giving a statement, a very generic statement of what the money is, and he understands the stock options. They're putting it in perspective, though.
Production of actual video games in favor of predatory monetization schemes and low-quality products. Take Diablo Immortal as an example here, or consider the fact that Bobby Kotick himself personally was a primary factor behind the lackluster end result of Diablo 4, or the chaotic situations regarding Overwatch 2, because, quote, it was Kotick who decided to launch Overwatch 2 on Steam without providing any help to the team after harm.
Of course, because he wants to line his pockets with money. He doesn't care what the devs think. He pays the devs.
Harming the game's development and blaming a decline in the company's stock price on those delays in order to cover up scandals, end quote. See the picture forming here? CEO of a major game publisher, hyper-fixated on the value of his company's share price, negatively impacts high-profile projects frequently at his own studios,
right,
shifting the entire direction towards predatory, low-quality mobile games in the process.
Minimal viable product, right? Make a microtransaction. The Monkey Glove in Call of Duty is $80. The video game that they sold you is $10 less. If people can't see the problem with video games right now, and you go out and buy the $80 Monkey Glove, you are the problem. You cannot sit here and say, well, I can do what I want with my money, and then also say, well, the industry is going to shit. You are the reason it's going to shit.
All for the sake of bolstering share price, which then results in a $400 million payday for him personally, right around the same time that Microsoft closes down 3 separate studios, which could have been funded at a massively overinflated premium, most likely, for an entire decade, just with the bonus money that the CEO got from those shares.
There's no difference in what he's saying, okay, than what I said before. 1 month of Game Pass. 1 month at just a 25 million, and it was 25 million. It was like 15 on one and 10 on the other, and that's before we knew the price went up to, I think, 30 million subscribers. Right? They were making $400 million a month. $400 million a month. You could literally make a Grand Theft Auto, okay, a Grand Theft Auto type game. Each month, you could fund a Grand Theft Auto that could take 7 years to make off of each month, generically. Obviously, people are like, well, there's taxes in that, and there's stocks in that, and there's you got to pay pensions in that. I understand that, but they're making $400 million a month, and they could fund an entire studio for a decade. For a decade.
Hopefully, we're starting to see the problem here, at least conceptually. Still,
why would they finish a game? Redfall? They're charging $70 right now for Redfall on Steam. $70 for Redfall. Why would they finish a game if they know there's people out there that will buy an unfinished game for the same price? Why would they finish a game if they know people would pay $40 extra for 3 days early access? Why would they finish a game if they know that you're going to pay $80 for a Monkey Glove?
That's just one example, so how about another one that's possibly even more egregious, this time coming from Take-Two Interactive? Strauss Zelnick. That's the guy we got to focus on.
Oh, Strauss Zelnick. You think Bobby Kotick's bad. Take-Two, baby. No, not Take-Two. We're not taking a Take-Two. We're talking about Take-Two, okay? I can't wait for Grand Theft Auto 6. That game is going to make so much money, and they're going to advertise to you, and they're just going to bleed you dry. They'll charge you an actual $20 for a blowjob while you're getting a hooker to give you a blowjob inside of Grand Theft Auto 6.
Strauss Zelnick is very well established
Look at this cock. Look at him. Look at him.
as the CEO of Take-Two Interactive, so much so, in fact, that he recently signed on to continue in that role through 2029. That's a long-term contract, but hidden away inside that contract is a very interesting paragraph about performance awards. Quote, performance-based award. The company will make 3 separate grants of performance-based restricted stock units to Zelnick Media, the performance awards, equal to the
Performance awards.
number as is determined by dividing roughly 9 million, 10 million, and 13 million, respectively, by the reference price, which units represent the target number of performance-based restricted stock units that are eligible to vest, with the maximum number of performance-based restricted stock units being.
Fucking hate this jargon of, like, can we make it the most confusing wording as possible? This legal jargon bullshit. Just tell us you're taking 200% of something.
Equal to 200% of the target amount. Continuing on, each performance award will be divided into 2 categories of vesting as follows. 1, 25% of the restricted stock unit award will be based on an operational performance metric relating to recurrent consumer spending during the applicable performance.
It depends on us, right? Each performance award will be divided into 2 categories of vesting as followers of 25% of the restricted stock unit award will be based on the optional performance metric relating to the recurrent customer spending during the appreciated performance
period, and will vest in June 2024 with respect to the first grant and June 2025 with respect to the second and third grants. And 2, 75% of the restricted stock unit award will be based on the performance of the company's stock price relative to the NASDAQ 100 index during the applicable performance period, and will vest in June 2024 with respect to the first grant and June 2025 with respect to the second and third grants. End quote. I know that was boring, but let's break.
I gotta wake up. I checked out when he said performance-based award.
Get down into common English. First, Zelnick Media is a private equity firm that Strauss Zelnick founded and serves as managing partner for. Zelnick Media is set to receive a substantial performance award from this contract, which is awarded in stock options.
He made a company so he can make money off his other company.
And subsequently based on 2 measurement criteria. Number 1 is recurrent consumer spending, which means the amount of microtransactions that players are funneled into buying, which quite obviously incentivizes him to push the concept as hard as he possibly can in all of their products.
Yeah. So he's pushing the microtransactions in all of their products, so his other company that had a contract signed to push them. Yeah.
And number 2 is the company's share price. This means that the CEO is now receiving hefty bonus compensation, in the tens of millions of dollars, by the way, based on how hard they can push their players into predatory microtransaction spending. And
That's fine. Don't worry about it, guys. It's microtransactions. You don't have to buy them. Fine.
How high they can get the company's share price off the back of that low-cost, high-yield profit mechanism. Meanwhile, in the Schedule 14A proxy statement from Take-Two Interactive, filed with the SEC, quote, the Board of Directors and Compensation Committee believe that the services provided by ZMC, that's Zelnick Media Corporation, inclusive of the services of Mr. Zelnick and Mr. Sladoff, are a competitive advantage to Take-Two. The Board of Directors and the Compensation Committee regularly evaluate the relationship with ZMC to ensure that it is still the appropriate management structure for the company, end quote. And a few lines down, total compensation of $72 million. Remember, early on, I did say that I have no issue with someone being paid for their labor, so maybe
Sure.
Zelnick
Yeah, sure. Right? What is that price, right?
and Carl Sladoff are just unbelievably talented and therefore
Super talented. Super talented.
deserve those figures. But at the very same time, Take-Two Interactive is laying off 600 workers and canceling multiple developing projects.
It's only 5% though, right? You got to understand that, right? That's just the number. They don't want you to know the actual number of people that they're actually laying off. They're like, well, look, I'm going to get paid my $72 million. We're just laying 5% off. Just 5%. Because 5% sounds much better than 600 people.
Why could this be? Because the work that these executives are doing is more akin to personal enrichment than anything else, at the direct expense of game quality, player experience, and worker salary. If you have a bonus structure that incentivizes you to add as many microtransactions as you possibly can and then force them on players as hard as you possibly can figure it out, that's what you're going to do. If you also have a
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Why would you make a full game when you can make the money off the microtransactions? Why would you finish your game if you can sell them a season pass? Why would you do this if they're already giving you that?
bonus structure that says you get tens of millions of dollars if the share price goes up to a certain threshold, in conjunction with a cheap profit mechanism like microtransactions at the very same time. Just put 2 and 2 together here. It's not hard. When all of these things are simultaneously true, the obvious way to enrich yourself is to cut basically everything other than high-paying, microtransaction-laden products. Fire everyone who isn't critical to those products.
Right. Get rid of the fat.
Increase your company's price per share as a result of these decisions, thereby harvesting more of it for yourself in the process.
That's correct.
And then exit the company at some eventual endpoint for a ridiculous windfall payout based on how long you maintain that cycle. It's a
right. And then move on to another company, start another company up, and do the exact same thing again.
very convoluted system of extracting value, but it is, make no mistake here, extracting value at the expense of pretty much every single party involved other than the executives themselves. The players suffer because legitimate products get thrown in the garbage, especially projects that fail to service a bonus structure built on microtransactions. The developers suffer because they are directly expendable on the basis of how much their job contributes to the goal of forcing more players to buy in-game items. And some people might think, well, at least the investors benefit here, which is true short term, but long term, the system cannot possibly be sustained because forcing players to spend more.
Yeah, Dustin, we've talked about that, I don't know, for weeks now.
More and more every day on increasingly faulty or lackluster products will eventually plateau, or worse yet, collapse fully. Gaming companies, at least major AAA publishing companies in particular, are currently on a very fast and accelerating downward spiral, where the captains at the helm of the ship are being directly paid to make their own products worse for the player base. They're being incentivized at the highest conceivable level to cut staff, cancel projects, and devote all of their resources into manipulative and predatory monetization schemes, and then
Right. Why put 5 to 7 years into thinking of actual game, make a game, sell a game, when they can think of 5 minutes on what kind of microtransaction to put into that game?
pump up the share price so that they can exit the company one day with hundreds of millions of dollars. Instead of pursuing that cycle, they could be funding dozens and dozens of smaller studios, pursuing creative new projects, developing fresh IP, and regaining the trust of their audience. But that method, compared to the cycle executives are engaging in right now, is incredibly high risk, with a lack of established and immediately achievable reward schemes, leaving us with a very well-established pattern of unchecked greed, which is now on display pretty much every single news cycle for one reason or another. In the end, I'm not exactly sure what can be done about any of this.
Nothing from us. Nothing from us, because we as the customers lose either way, right? Because if they continue doing this, they're milking us for the money, right? Which is fine. That's what they want. That's corporate world. But if we don't spend money on this, then the industry completely crumbles and you also get nothing. So then people look at it this way. Well, I'm going to pay for what I like, even though I'm paying for microtransactions, I'm paying for broken, buggy, unfinished games. But man, it looks good. And you're going to pay for these things and they're going to just keep milking you. But if you stop paying for them, they're going to blame you and tell you that, well, it's your fault that this failed. Instead of them making a game and selling a game, they're going to make a half-ass game. You're not going to buy it. And they're going to tell you, just like the film industry is telling you that you're sexist, racist, misogynistic, the video game industry will tell you that you're sexist, racist, misogynistic, and a cheapskate because you don't want to buy a game that we put out there for you. Gaming's hard. Gaming development's taking longer to make and very competitive. These are the things they're going to tell you. So it's a lose-lose situation for the customers. You either pay way over price or you stop paying and you get nothing out of it because the products are going to be shit.
A lot of this hinges on the executive decision-making of a small group of people who are directly motivated not to change it in any way, shape, or form. But the pattern is unsustainable long-term, and it kind of feels like the boiling point is right
What? What's that? Unsustainable? Say it ain't so.
around the corner. Regardless, all of it remains to be seen, and that's kind of the end of the video. If you want a VPN, we have a very special deal down below, so click that and try it. Also, Patreon and Locals, monthly subscriptions, which are the best way to contact me directly. Those are great.
So go check out Upper Echelon's content.
As always,
links in the description down below.
Watching. Question everything.
Head on over to his video.
Have a nice night.
Head on over to his video. Give it a like. be one of these 684,000 subscribers. And he's got, 4.2 thousand likes right now. He now has 4.21 from me. So make sure you hit that like button down below since we watched this video. Yeah, but that's it, guys. That's what's happening in the industry. Okay, the world's going to continue moving. They're going to constantly make games that are free to play and try to put as many microtransactions as possible, or they're going to give you a broken, buggy, unfinished game, fix it over the next 18, 24, 36 months, and then try to bilk you out of that as well. Right? He says, I should have just stayed in bed. Like, this has me as a headache and I'm depressed. Well, I'm sorry about that. Go make yourself a hot chocolate. What? Hot chocolate will make you feel good, feel warm and fuzzy inside, but also it's probably 100 degrees outside, So from that, we go to the last video we're going to watch, which I don't know if they take it down. I guess I could just cut this part out of the video. That's why we're doing it last. Marvel Rivals is coming out tomorrow for the early access or whatever, the beta test or whatever the hell they do, alpha test. Let's be honest, it doesn't really matter. It could be gold edition. It doesn't really matter, right? They're bringing a game out. You're going to play it. They're going to hype it up. They're having a tournament. People are going to buy stuff, whatever. Okay. But they have the cosmetic skins to show off, and this is leaked early, so I might get hit for this, but whatever. I sadly found out that some people put cheese in their hot chocolate. It's called Colombian hot chocolate. I don't even know where to go with that, Krebsy. Cheese and hot chocolate. I'm trying to justify it in my head, like, you put cheese and you put a chocolate fountain, stuff like that, and you eat. Okay. Right? I'm trying to think of cheese and hot chocolate. I'm not sure. I don't really get that. But whatever. Here's shit every day that's weird on the internet. All right, so we're going to look at... I don't think there's music or anything. We're just going to put my own music on. Okay. And we're going to look at this. My favorite part about this game is that I wish this wasn't this game. Right? Like, I wish, like, look at this. Look at these cosmetics. Right? Why couldn't Marvel's Avengers be like this? The worst part about this game is it's this game. I personally love the animation style of these characters. Look at Hulk. Got some emotes going on here. Or I like to say microtransactions. Now, it does say acquire. It does say acquire at the bottom of the screen there. So, acquire, does that mean you paid for it? Or does that mean you earned it in game? So, you got some emotes. You got some sprays. I don't really care about sprays. Okay, you see some of the abilities here. Hulk Smash, Indestructible Guard, Radioactive Lockdown, Incredible Leap, Gamma Burst. There's the list. There's the list, and there's still like a scroll bar over there on the side there, right? You got Bruce Banner and Hulk. You got the Punisher. You got Storm. You got Loki. You got Doctor Strange. You got Mantis. You got Rocket Raccoon. You got Hela, Black Panther, Groot, Magic, Luna Snow, Iron Man, and Spider-Man. Chag says, Marvel Rivals is what happens when you put cheese in hot chocolate. Look at Punisher. Punisher looks good, man. So Punisher basically is who was the guy in Overwatch, the Grim Reaper? What was that guy's name with the skull mask? I forget his name. That's who Punisher is. I forget what his name is. Reaper, thank you. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Kotaku's going to have a problem with this. Did you see the jiggle factor in the boobs? Let me rewind that just in case you missed it. Watch out, Kotaku's going to lose their mind over jiggling boobs. What's going on, Lejeune? God damn, I love this, the animation style of this. So sad. It's a hero shooter. This couldn't be like Marvel's Avengers. Loki looks badass too, man. How good it looks. I love this animation style and the art style. God damn, I'm so depressed we can't get a Marvel game like we want. Instead we're getting an Overwatch clone. Oh, look at Doctor Strange. Oh, that looks good too. I hope there's a PvE mode in this. I'm just not a PvP guy anymore. I hope there's a PvE mode in this. I hope that these guys do something that Overwatch couldn't. Could you imagine? Could you imagine, Brain? If they did this with a Marvel Heroes with this type of animation style? Oh, dude. Not a big fan of Mantis's face. I still like the art style, though. I still like her character model. Oh, that looks good. Just cover her face up. Just cover her face up. That looks 10 times better. That looks 10 times better. That helmet looks good. I'm not going to go into like the I just want to look at each of the characters. Rocket looks good. Look at that. My favorite part is the art style. Another one-handed controller game. Oh, that looks cool. What does that say? 1872? Oh, 100%, Krebsy. 100%. And if they make the same mistakes as Overwatch, that's sad. I don't know what they're doing. All I'm saying is, if they make the exact same mistakes as Overwatch done, it's idiotic. It's idiotic. Hopefully they don't make the same mistakes. Hell, it looks good. I always want to know when she wears that helmet, like how much weight is that on her head? What does it say? Galactica. It's time for the Creator Clash. Join Quick Match and dive into. Okay, so that's the little thing there. Oh, no, they could definitely pick up the pieces, Eclipse. I'm saying, though, people asked for a PvE inside of Overwatch. forever. If these guys don't come out with a PvE inside of this, it's the same mistakes. Make a single player, not a single player, but make PvE content for this game as well. Like, for instance, last night, we're playing Star Wars Battlefront 2, right? 4-player co-op, going against the NPCs, having a match and stuff like that. That is just a game mode in there, okay? It's a multiplayer game, but you could do a co-op mode. You could do split screen. You could do different things. If they do that with this game, fantastic. If they do the exact same thing as problems with Overwatch, then they deserve to go down just as bad as Overwatch. Right now, I think they're killing it with the animations and stuff like that. Looks good. I would take a game like this with this animation style, just not an Overwatch game. You make Marvel's Avengers like this? Come on, bro. If Marvel's Avengers looked like this and we were playing, yeah, like a mission story / thing, Quintar. Magic looks good. She almost looks like an 80s girl. You know what I mean? And more of like an early 90s girl with the bangs and stuff like that. Did a good job. They did a good job on the animations and stuff, man. Isn't Luna Snow coming into Suicide Squad? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Oh, God. The fuck did I... Completely different. My brain just went hemorrhage. Isn't there a Snow person coming into Suicide Squad? Not Luna Snow, but isn't Mr. Freeze's daughter coming in? Emma Snow. Coming into Suicide Squad next season? Is it Elma or Ella? Iron Man looks good. Why is it all stuttering? Iron Man. Oh, that looks cool. 1872 steam powered. That's a $14 skin right there. Victoria. That's her name. There's my boy. Wait a minute. I thought Sony owned Spider-Man. Spider-Man can't be in this. Sony owns Spider-Man. I love those people that always say that. They're like, oh, Spider-Man can't be in a game. Sony owns him. Those idiots. They're idiots. Spider-Man can't be in a game. Sony has the rights to him. That's movie rights. You moron. Oh, I didn't know there was a whole other page there. I knew it went down. I didn't know they were going to show it, though. That Magneto? Ooh, Magneto, Scarlet Witch, Penny Parker, which is just Diva, right? We know that's Diva. Oh, yeah, Magneto looks badass. Look at him. I like the bearded look on him. Scarlet Witch. See, what I like about this art style, too, they can do whatever and put whatever they want, right? And Marvel would be idiots to fuck it up yet again, right? Put as many cosmetics from movies, television shows, TV shows, just throw them in here. Yeah, it's class-based, Jones. You can see, like, the emblems underneath their name. Like, see, if I here, I'll back it up for a second. You'll see it on next to her name. So you see this fist. So I'm assuming she's a brawler, offensive, whatever. You'll see it. I'll go back to the names and show you. Yeah. So see, so like he's got a shield, so he's more defense. She's more offense, right? I don't know if it's just offense, defense, or if there's like different ones. Yeah, this is Diva, which was my favorite character in Overwatch. I fucking wrecked with Diva. Our Lord. He looks good. Oh, look, it's Namor, as Disney says. It's not just Namor, it's Namor. Here's one person I'm mad about. Where's Wolverine? Come on, bro. Where's Wolverine? Where's Wolverine? Where's Deadpool? There's a movie coming out. They should be in this game promoting it. Come on. I know it's an alpha. I know it's not in full release. But how do you miss an opportunity like this? How do you not have Deadpool and Wolverine in this? I said it before and I'll say it again when they first showed it a month ago. Right? There needs to be double the amount of heroes and villains in this game right now. Double the amount. Okay. Okay, so you see, he's a healer. Loki's a healer. Mantis is a healer. Luna Snow's a healer. Then you have Bruce Banner, Doctor Strange, and Groot are all defense. And then Punisher, Storm. Rocket Raccoon's a healer. Hela, Black Panther, Magic, Iron Man, Spider-Man, they're all offense. Oh, 100% Eclipse. You can put the whole cast of X-Men on there, right? Where's Cyclops? Where's Colossus? Right? Where's Rogue? Where's Gambit? Where's Beast? Now, I understand they can put them in later. But don't drag it out. There's literally like 1,000 characters you can put into the game, right? What would you rather have? Wolverine now? Or 2 years from now when they put Wolverine in and the game shuts down because no one's playing? You know what I mean? Put as many characters in as possible. What do they got? They got 18, 15. We got 7, 14, 14, 15, 16, 15, 19. They have 19 characters in the game for the alpha. Double that. When the game comes out, double it. It's too Overwatchy for me. Super Dave, I agree with you 100%. If this came out before Overwatch or the same time as Overwatch, I would have played this then Overwatch. Okay? I think it's a little late. I hope it does well. They got to put a PvE mode in this. They have to do what Overwatch didn't do. Right? They got to take a page out of Sega's book of Sega does what Nintendo doesn't, right? Or don't, okay? And they have to do Marvel Rivals does what Overwatch didn't, okay? They didn't put a PvE in. They need to put a PvE mode in this. Wolverine will be a season pass? Sure. right? But that's not content. New characters aren't content. Put as many as possible. It's a free-to-play game. Don't charge for characters if you're going to charge for the skins. Okay? If you want to charge a season pass and then everyone has cosmetics into that season pass, cool. But do not charge. Deadpool comes in. Oh, you want to play Deadpool? That'll be $20. That won't fly over very well. People will buy it, obviously, because of YouTubers and Twitch streamers and stuff like that. Don't charge for characters. Charge for the season pass. Charge for cosmetics. They knocked it out of the park, in my opinion. They knocked it out of the park with the way this looks. This is the way a Marvel game should look. Look and feel like a comic book. I think the characters need to be free because it's a team-based kind of game. If you watch Overwatch 2, it messed up. Right, because if you charge for the character, then all of a sudden, now you're paying to win. Right? Because if someone comes in, someone gets a character, or you lock a character behind a season pass, then people are being, it's pay to win. Another thing that's going to happen here, this is going to be interesting to watch the balancing that they're going to do. If Hulk's too overpowered, the Punisher's too overpowered, then they nerf them, and then no one uses those characters. You know what I mean? I said that's when we talked about it a month ago as well. Surprised that the other games don't do a Mortal Kombat single-player type of thing story-wise. I agree, Quintar. I think that's a missed opportunity, like sort of like what they did with Injustice. Like, have a single-player like kind of story like that. I'll take that. A lot of people think that if they make this just PvP, then that's going to be a hit out of the park because they're looking to get like tournaments going and stuff like that. But what they don't really understand is a lot of people just want to play these games and enjoy the characters. They will buy not buy the characters, but they will buy the cosmetics for the characters that they're interested in. You put a Wolverine in there and someone wants to buy the Wolverine from cosmetic from like issue 199 from like 1982 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, people will buy stuff like that because that's what they want. If you just make this an Overwatch game, you don't understand why people stop playing Overwatch then. Now, obviously, this is third person and not first person. So, you got to see the characters because you're going to be paying for cosmetics. But if they sell you a character, they're going to get some pushback there, man. You got to put the characters in for free, charge for cosmetics, charge for season passes, obviously. Don't make the season pass expire. Right? If you want to be sad and grossed out, go to general chat and Discord. Well, I hate to miss an opportunity to get grossed out. With cheese and... Yeah, no, that looks disgusting. That looks disgusting. Look, I hope this game does well. I hope they have a hit on their hands. I hope they don't charge for the pay to win with the characters. I think it's a missed opportunity. They don't even have Wolverine and Deadpool in this alpha beta. And if it comes out before the movie comes out, if this game comes out beforehand, they better put Wolverine and Deadpool in the game. They'd be idiotic not to. Jones says they will 100% charge for characters. Oh, I hope not, man. Be idiotic too. Stop making season pass like battle pass. It'd be cool to stop time limit. Yeah, no FOMO. Free to play. Put as many characters in as possible. Charge all what you want for the cosmetics. Charge for the season pass. Add stuff in the season pass for people to get a cool skin for characters. Right? if you want to drop a seasoned character, for instance, game comes out, it's season 0, right? Season 1 comes out, all of a sudden they add, let's say, Deadpool and Wolverine, right? Let's just say that's part of the season pass, but not the character themselves. They drop the characters, okay? They're in the game. But the season pass rewards, okay, at the very end is a cool cosmetic for that new character they put in the game and for that new character. You know what I'm saying? So if they put 2 or 3 characters into the season 1, then the cosmetics for those characters are within season 1. You spread out these characters' season cosmetics in that season, and then the new characters they put in for that season is the higher tier ones that you want to get for that. That's what they should do. No FOMO. Someone pays for the season pass. They can take their time doing it and play as much as they want. That would be a smart way to do it. If they charge for characters, then I doubt this game will last. Overwatch 2 had to go back on doing that. Right. But we've all seen in the past Eclipse that companies make the same mistakes as other people. And Suicide Squad making the exact same mistakes as everybody else before them. Look, those of you that are parents, right? You made your mistakes, right? You made your mistakes, and then you tell your children, hey, don't stick that fork in the outlet. You'll get electrocuted. And they're like, you can't tell me what to do. Oh, I can't believe I just got electrocuted. Why didn't you warn me? Right? That's what's happening right now in the industry with a company comes out, they're like, hey, we're going to make a battle royale game. And they make the exact same mistakes as everybody else. Okay? And they're like, I can't believe this game didn't make it. We don't understand why it failed. Anthem comes out. Marvel's Avengers comes out. Suicide Squad comes out and goes, hold my beer. We're going to make the exact same mistakes as the other games that did before us with free content, not charging for it, and then not know what the hell we're doing. It's not like there's not a blueprint already, not what to do. How long does the playtest go for? Does it go to the 14th? Nah, watch. They think they can stick the fork in better. That's true. That's true, Quintar. No, that's it. They're sticking the thing in the outlet. It's not about not getting electrocuted. It's like, how long can you hold on for? You're a pussy. I can hold on for 7 seconds. Yeah, Jack. I tell my kids it hurt like hell, didn't it? When they do something stupid. Yeah, I do the same thing. I do the exact same thing. My son does something. I'm like, well, I told you. He's like, oh my God, I told you not to do that. Yeah. Hurts like a bitch, doesn't it? That's the only way they'll learn. So what's the difference between a video game coming out? Video game comes out, makes the same mistakes as somebody else, and then they go, well, it didn't make it. It bombed. And we're like, it's like the John Travolta, like, wait, I don't understand how you guys make the exact same mistakes all the time. But for some reason, you do. All right, it's that time of the day. We've covered a lot of different topics today. Throughout the week, we cover news stories Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We have conversations. I read the stories for you. I think we have a good conversation back and forth. I think this is a good thing. Okay, tonight there's a lot of stories I didn't cover throughout the week. Okay, we're going to cover a few of the top stories in the past week. We're going to recover some of these stories and new stories tonight that I didn't cover today or throughout the week. Tonight, Generation X Gaming, a weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories in the past week, and we rant along the way. Tonight, Kingard is joining us as my guest. Sarge does not be able to make it. If he does able to make it, I'm going to make a separate screen, and we might have 3 of us on the show tonight. But as of right now, it's just me and Kingard tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern for Generation X Gaming. Episode 3, I think it's 395 or 396. So that'll be tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on 30 NSG. I appreciate it very much. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you can become a member as little as $5. It helps us out and continue doing what we're doing here. So I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.